Radio. Wrestling podcast featuring Ramen Bomber and Rav and the one and only Peanut. Woo! Jobber Radio. Jobber Radio. Jobber Radio. Jobber Radio. Bitches.
I haven't fucking even talked about the main event yet.
Ah, man, nobody. You hate Daniel Bryan, so.
No, brand split won't happen.
Hey, they can be on the same show. They can be on the same
maybe
show.
not.
This is the best team out of Japan. They're not from Japan, motherfucker.
Hey everybody, welcome to Jobber Radio. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so I think we're gonna get right into it. I'm Jake, aka Bomber. We are joined today. We have I think this is a record. I'm not sure for the number of people on the show. First of all, let's start out. We got Matt Zion. What's going on, dude?
We have 4.5 men on the show today.
Yeah, we're waiting for Peanut. He says he's gonna be in. He's updating Skype, so he's probably gonna jump in a little bit. So heads up on that.
That's the half man.
Yeah. And so we got me, Matt Zion, and this is I'm pretty excited about this. We have Lee number 1. What's going on, Lee?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad that Lee number 2 took over on the trivia show for me last week, because I would have fucking failed miserably on that shit.
And he did good. That's Scott also is here. Lee number 2. That's what everybody called him on the last episode. He won the trivia show. What's going on?
I did win it. Sick as a dog. How you doing?
Pretty good. Just woke up myself. I heard Matt Zion just took a little nap too, huh?
What do you have? What are you sick with, Scott? You got a cold?
I don't know, but dinner came up last night, so that wasn't great.
So you and my girlfriend both. My girlfriend was out all night. She vomited up and she couldn't hold anything down. I think she's got a stomach flu.
I am trying to eat some basic stuff, but soup is about it. Maybe some toast, and yeah, that's my day.
I
also did sleep most of the day, so there we go.
No, she did too. Maybe it's just the announcement of the brand split that got you sick to your stomach.
Yeah, could be that. I don't know. I just knew it was coming yesterday, and yeah.
I was about to say, if you show up right here, if you throw up right here on the show, that would have matched perfect with all the reckless eating shit.
I'll get you a vomit alert, Matt. I'll let you know. Don't worry. I'll let you know.
That'd be great. But audio form. So like I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got obviously the SmackDown going live. We got the brand split. We got the Extreme Rules. We're going to talk about Extreme Rules, what all went down. That usually takes a while. I don't know if you guys want to go through each match or not later.
No, not really.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We got
there's a few
worthwhile
ones.
Two-match show.
Yeah, because the big news obviously is the brand split, the SmackDown going to Tuesday live. We could probably do the entire show on that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think we should start out with that. I think I may be in the minority here.
I think you should start this out because I think you're literally the only person that likes this decision.
I wouldn't
Just
say.
Don't worry, we'll tear it down after.
I know. I assume, Lee, are you also against the split here?
Oh, I am so against this.
Okay. All right. So it seems like I'm the only one that thinks this is a good idea in somewhat the short term. Maybe. I mean, I'm optimistic. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic.
You always are.
I know. Damn
Daniel
me.
Bryan, and then you hate it with the passion.
Yeah. Damn me for being optimistic.
All
but
right.
I think this is first of all, in the short term, I think this is a very good idea.
That's all it is. The whole thing is a short-term gain.
That's the thing. It's a short-term, huge upside here. But if they can do it right, I know the track record's not there, but if they can do it right, it can turn into a long-term good thing. There's obviously a lot of room for error, and they have fucked up in the past. But
oh my god, all they do.
But I think right off the bat, this is going to be the draft. The draft is always big. If they do the draft, I think that's going to bring in some good numbers. That's going to bring in a lot of people wanting to see who goes where, what happens with that. That's always exciting. This is actually going to have people, I think, have a reason to watch SmackDown. Because right now, obviously, none of you watch SmackDown, right? I don't watch SmackDown.
I won't. I still won't.
No.
I basically, I'll either watch Raw or I'll watch SmackDown. I'm not going to watch both. I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah.
So whichever one has more guys I like, that's the one I'll watch.
What happened?
Okay.
Here's the thing. What happens if Owens goes to your favorite wrestler? What happens if Owen goes to SmackDown? You still won't watch
then
it?
I'm going to watch SmackDown and not watch Raw.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you'll go wherever Owens goes. Okay.
Essentially,
I
yeah,
understand
but
that. I
that's why
understand
that's why this is retarded, and that's why it's so weird that people are like, "Yeah, I love that you're splitting like my full show full of all the people I like into 2 shows." Mm-hmm. Woo!
I don't know. See, yeah, the amount of talent is not as deep as it was before when they did this. Obviously, that's
Yeah,
that's a
and they
given.
just had a goddamn fucking purge of talent. Like, why did they do that? These
Yeah, I
poor
saw
guys
somebody
are-
on Twitter like when Vince. I'm sure it wasn't actually Vince. I don't know who runs his Twitter account. Anyway, like he posted the news on his Twitter, and like I was reading all the comments, and someone was like, "Yeah, thank God you just fucking let Sandow go."
Yeah, right. One of the guys that would have probably benefited pretty greatly.
Yeah.
One thing that they were saying was that the women's division is going to be on one show. They're thinking it's going to be Raw, so the women will be exclusive to it,
That'd be cool.
and the tag team division will be exclusive to SmackDown, and that they're going to focus on those as kind of like a key thing. But
I heard
again,
the tag will be on both, so I don't know what's.
oh really? Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe I'm wrong. But like the thing on this is like if they're going to start throwing certain divisions in certain spots, though, like again, they're splitting something I got to see the best of on one show onto 2 shows now. I don't see the benefit as a fan from that. I get that I get that some talent might get maybe like exposed a little more and they might not have to wrestle as much, but like my argument is all they had to do was just maybe not have somebody wrestle on SmackDown one week and just have them wrestle on Raw or vice versa and kind of give them a breather. I see very little upside to this long term because they're just not going to commit to it.
I'll piggyback on that real quick. It's not going
Yeah.
to be like new talent rising. It'll be instead of Owens competing with Cena, it'll be Cena over here and Owens over there. It won't be anybody new. It'll just be the same everyone. Just
Three Stephanie
Sift
segments
it out.
instead of 2. They'll just up their segments for the people that they have. I mean, like we're going based off of their track record because this is what they do.
they've literally done this before.
Yeah, when they went from 2 hours of Raw to 3 hours of Raw, everybody was like, "Hallelujah! We're gonna get way more matches. It's gonna be great." And you're like, no, you ended up just getting more segments and like literally like fart joke commercials, and they didn't know what to do with it. What the fuck are they gonna do with an extra 2 hours of TV time? Nothing. Absolutely nothing that matters.
Well, I mean, I see what you mean. I mean, it's not like they haven't had SmackDown around.
No, but nobody watches it because it doesn't matter. SmackDown, as of right now, is just an extension of Raw. Like, if you ever notice, they'll do a match on Raw and then they just do it on SmackDown because they don't care about SmackDown.
And or if it was good on SmackDown, to do a rematch on Raw
Yeah.
because now everybody can see it.
Yeah. It's always piggybacking in one way or another. Now it's supposed to be like a completely unique entity, and I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
So you guys aren't even like interested in the competition aspect of like having
Been there before. They
I've
failed
already
it so
seen it.
badly.
Yeah, oh my god, they failed so bad.
That is true. But this is for the most part a different group of different roster, different
no, but it's the
talent.
same. But it's the same people in charge. It has
Consider
nothing to do
this.
with the wrestlers.
I mean, we don't know
NXT
100% of it's the same.
Well,
100%.
just consider
It's-
this: NXT is as awesome as it is, and Raw is not changing anything to compete with that. They're just doing their thing while NXT gets those viewers. Why are Raw and SmackDown going to change against each other? It's just going to be all the same. They're not going to change against anything. It'll be this guy there, that guy there. They'll
I like-
lessen rosters. They'll poach NXT, which will rebrand and do well. And then they won't get to do their stuff because they'll do WWE stuff on those other brands. And we've been here. And then how awesome it was when they combined them again. It was like, hey, now I get to see everybody face everybody. Cool.
Yeah, well, it just went back to being a normal wrestling show. But Lee, what do you think? Because I'm curious about you.
It feels like a fucking ego thing from Vince McMahon. He's getting ready to fucking die, and he wants to relive all his failures.
Oh, God.
Fucking, he's like, goddamn, pal, we're gonna bring back the roster split. We're gonna have separate brands, pal, and then we're gonna bring back the XFL, pal, and then we're gonna bring back WCW invading WWF, pal.
He's become Hogan.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Brother.
I think that I think at the end of the day, this came down to they moved SmackDown onto the USA Network, and USA was like, we want this to be basically we want this to do the same numbers that Raw does, and it doesn't.
Yep.
And it's not improving. It's not getting any better. They don't want to lose SmackDown because I'm sure they probably make a decent amount of money from the ad revenue on it. And so Vince is like, well, I guess this is a good way to go to get people to care about it. But every time that they've ever put any type of interest in SmackDown, within a month or two, they lose it and they stop caring about it and it fades away. So the exact same thing's going to happen with this guy. I give it, at the very least, 6 months. It'll go 6 months. It'll have 6 months of working, and then all of a sudden, like Kevin Owens, who was drafted to SmackDown, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Kevin Owens is here on Raw competing. It looks like it's just like a one-time only thing next week. Oh, Kevin Owens is back again." And it doesn't fucking matter anymore, and that's what's gonna happen.
And that we're gonna get title changes. We're gonna get important stuff for a little bit. That happened with Main Event, happened with the network, happened with Superstars, happened with all these other shows. Just to be like, oh look, important things happen here, and then nothing else will.
Then nothing happens. Yeah, and the fact that they pretty much confirmed through Meltzer that they're gonna once again separate the world titles absolutely infuriates me.
No.
No, I didn't want them to unify them when they did the WWE in the world, because like, look, we got this thing for a long time. Keep running with it, whatever. But okay, we unify it. I'm okay with that because they're going to stick with it.
I absolutely hated having two world. It makes no sense. You can't have two world champions. There's only one. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now they're going to do this, and it's like you literally just unified it and did the thing.
like
Are you going to bring the big gold belt back? Like what now, or what are they going to do?
I have no idea. I mean, at first it was rumored that it would be the IC title would be like the SmackDown thing, and I'm like, that could work, but it's kind of dumb because like
how much more B-show can you make it?
Exactly, and so that's why they're gonna bring back the probably the world title, but like
that makes SmackDown the shitty little territory where you have your champion there, and then the NWA champion comes in and beats the fuck out of your champion.
You imagine Cena's the IC champion representing SmackDown. They just have Reigns come out every once in a while for no reason and no build up a repercussion. He just beats the shit out of Cena, puts him in his place, and then goes back to Raw.
That's terrible.
The whole thing just it's so weird, the idea of having two of the things. Because imagine we have like Reigns and Styles, but if they had the draft, you potentially would not even have them go against each other because he's world champ there and he's world champ there.
Yeah,
that's the problem we have.
I would prefer them to just do what they did with Taker, even though I wasn't huge on it.
Have them on both.
It's fine to have them on both. Yeah, if you're the tag champs, you're on both. If you're the women's champ,
and
you're
that
on
was
both.
interesting because you had them even competing for who the contender was.
Yeah,
and that was interesting stuff. That was Triple H, Hogan, and Taker. I think were the Lesnar
to the like the Raw versus SmackDown nature that they were going for. Like they're even
rivalry.
Yeah, which one of their shows?
We have the champion, but not exclusive. He's the champion. He's the WWE champion. Yeah. He should be on all the things.
I would prefer. I would also just brand split.
I mean, if they were going to go through with this shit, and the only way I could see myself wanting to watch this is if SmackDown's exclusively cruiserweights and women. Just make them separate from Raw. Raw would be the heavyweights and the main stars and stuff like that. And NXT would still be your super indie or whatever, and you could feed them into both shows. But even then, they don't have enough talent to do it. It's just spread too fucking thin, man.
And I agree with that, except then you literally get the people thinking, well, the cruiserweights don't sell. You see that with UFC, you see that with boxing, you see that with everything. Then every now and then you'll be like, well, what about this guy? Maybe he can make a run at the world title. I wish he could, but he can't because he's over there. And then, maybe in the Rumble. And I mean, I get that's where that draw becomes, but I don't. What's the problem with having a roster of 50 guys versus two rosters of 25? I don't. Even if it's 25 big guys and the 25 little guys, it just I don't understand.
It's going to get so stale. I mean, that's what happened. That's why the first brand split didn't work. It worked for maybe a month, and then like you started to see, like I'm kind of watching Rob Van Dam fighting Eddie Guerrero a whole lot. And you're like, I guess I'm gonna have to watch him on Raw like for the next 3 months feuding with each other and like have 4 pay-per-view matches. And there was that joke where they did like, was it like Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus like 1 million times or something? It wasn't on the brand split because that was way after, but it was that idea that like we're gonna have to sit through this kind of stuff where they're just gonna feed us the same matches over and over and like how many times Rob Van Dam fucking fought the same people on Raw all the time it was annoying. It was like they didn't have the roster depth back then, and they had WCW's roster on the card.
And ECW.
Yeah, and ECW was already kind of interjected, but yeah, like they had basically all 3 companies to play with, and in this one, it's like they have a bunch of indie guys, sure, but then they're saying, a lot of NXT guys are gonna get called up. Well, it'll be cool to see like Finn come out, and then it'll be cool to see like maybe Joe come out. But then they're gonna are we gonna start marking out for like the nobodies of NXT that don't matter? Like, it's Murphy. So Like, who gives a fuck about Murphy? Like, it's going to take away the specialness of NXT guys debuting because they're just going to start debuting them left and right, and then you deplete NXT. It's God, this thing just sounds.
Well, the
fucking
worst. Here's
terrible.
the thing they haven't talked about is the shows, like the pay-per-views. Because remember when the brand split first happened,
Yeah,
they
it
had
has-
Raw shows and SmackDown
Yeah.
shows before they combined them into the interchanging, where you have a SmackDown
I don't
match
think
and
I
a Raw
don't
match.
think that they're going to
I
do.
think they're
the
going to keep
exclusives.
the combined shows.
Yeah,
but
I think so
the
too.
network,
I think so.
who the hell knows?
I think they're going to do the combined ones because I think the idea would be that I don't think either of those shows can carry their own. So they're just going to have matches from Raw and SmackDown on the same one, but they won't. I guess they won't fight each other.
I won't be surprised if they have every now and then a SmackDown exclusive show on the network and a Raw exclusive show on the network thrown in, like the King of the Ring
Like a
was, or stuff
special,
like that.
like a special.
yeah,
Yeah.
specials. I could absolutely see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should make, like, since they still have their goddamn monthly pay-per-view fucking system or whatever, they should really think about scaling back some of them, like just take them off pay-per-view altogether and just have them exclusively as special shows on the network and just keep the big ones, the big original 6 or whatever it is, and make those the combined shows.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, they kind of did with the Chamber last year, but it's not back this time. They're going right to
Yeah.
Money in. They tried that one. I kind of wish they kept doing stuff like that because
All right, we need a positive
interesting.
spin, though, Bomber. Come on.
I know,
speak-
I've been-
shit we can shoot down.
short term this will work for SmackDown and increase viewers.
I need more things to shoot
100%.
down. Go.
Okay, well, first of all,
It's good for Cody Rhodes.
it's Cody Rhodes. He's like the biggest loser of this whole brand split.
Just,
As
it's
soon as he
literally what
leaves.
he wanted. It would have
Yeah.
been perfect for him.
He had to have
potentially.
known it was coming, though. I think that he's thinking the way that the three of us are is. It says if they wanted to push somebody, they were gonna push you. So there's people on Twitter that are saying, "Oh, so many people are gonna get so many more like openings and opportunities." Trust me, if they liked you, if they wanted you to do well, you would already do well. It's not gonna fucking make a difference if there's a brand
No,
splitter.
it's going to be in, like John Cena and Roman Reigns and Kevin
Yeah.
Owens. They all got 5 spots on Raw. Cool.
Yeah, fine.
Now you're going to put 2 of them over here, and they're going to get 10 spots on Raw, and Owens is going to get 10 over there. It's going to be the same guys getting more time.
Yeah,
We've seen WWE prove me wrong, please, but that's what
I
we've
hope
seen
you do.
literally.
Yeah, I mean, they've
And I
made
hate
the
that.
mistake before. I mean, it's hard to me to believe that they're going to do the exact same thing that they did before.
but they do.
They're
do.
literally doing it. They're
I-
going to make exclusive brands. They're going to have a
That is
draft.
true.
We have 2 authority figures. It's good. It's literally happening the same way.
I
It's
know
even the
it's
same time
going
of
down.
year.
I know, like the building of it is going down the same way, but the way they're going to pull it off, it's hard to believe they're going to fail this execution twice.
Wow, Vince must love you.
Well, they,
Only once.
Vince must
Shame on me.
Literally, what Scott said is so right.
I'm not saying
they're
you guys
even-
are wrong. I'm just
No, I
saying
think they're literally positioning it and setting it up in the exact. There's nothing different. I can't even name one thing that is different about this setup that they're rumored to be doing. And if it's exactly the same, what would make you think that the outcome would be the same? It's like doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different outcome. It's not.
And it's
that's-
not even just with the brand split. When they added that main event show, they were all gung-ho about it. They had an IC title change, and then it was just a taped show. And when they even had the network promoted, they had Sheamus lose to Rusev for the U.S. title on a network broadcast. It's not even a show. It's just like, look, we're going to pimp it. And now it's just whatever there's stuff on it. It's going to be the same.
Vince is like,
Even if they don't think that way, because they have to go all out. They need to literally make SmackDown be the stronger show out of this and keep it that way to be the only way to get people to believe it. That's
why
the only way this is going to work. And they'll never do that because Raw is literal deflect. Shane didn't want control of SmackDown. He didn't want control of WWE. He said he wanted Raw, which was control of WWE. That literally was 2 months ago. That's their mentality. I don't see
still
it
think-
happening any other way. And he's going to get SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm
It's gonna
saying
be Stephanie's
wait,
Raw.
Stephanie's not gonna take SmackDown. She's gonna take Raw.
It's going to
100%.
be underhanded, and that's where they're going to be against each
And
other.
that'll step on their storyline again. But like, there's no way Stephanie doesn't take Raw.
Okay, so
He's going to steal it out from under him, and it's going to be, oh, evil Steph, we should have known.
So here's my question. I want you guys to each of you. I want you each to give me something that you think will be positive out of this. Besides, in the short term, it'll be good. Is there anything that you guys at all see will come out of this that will be positive?
All right, go for it, Lee.
I'll go first. I
Let's-
see more focus on the secondary titles.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Not that will benefit anything.
No.
It won't benefit anything. It won't be more
I-
deserving, but it
I
will get
honestly-
more focus.
yeah, I honestly don't see anything honestly. I mean, short term, there might seem like there's going to be a couple things that might work, but I think it's just all going to fucking fall down again like the first time they tried this shit. And yeah, there might be some focus on the secondary titles. They're already actually focusing on the secondary titles right now. And I don't think it's going to be all that much different when they split the brands. I think it's going to, in the end, it's going to dilute things, and it's going to make SmackDown. It's still going to be the B show, and that's the show with the shit titles on it. And yeah, I don't give a fuck. I hate this. It's stupid.
Wow.
I think there's shades of what we're gonna see that was on Raw, where they were like focusing and promoting R-Truth and Goldust for some goddamn unknown reason, and then they completely ignore Tyler Breeze. Like, he's just there, even though he beats them, sure, but he didn't look like the star of that segment because they were focusing on the two guys that are close to 50 years old instead. You know, because people love that wacky R-Truth and that wacky Goldust. not Tyler Breeze that probably has next 20 years in him. Not these two guys that are probably close to retirement at this point. That's what you're going to get. Their priorities are just all over the place.
And it doesn't even matter which world title is where. It'll always be Raw being the main one, because while JBL and Eddie were WWE champion, Triple H's world title was the shit.
Yeah.
That was the title because it was on Raw. It doesn't matter which one's where.
It always main evented, too.
And then whenever Batista was world champion, that was over on SmackDown. That was secondary, because Cena's WWE title was the main thing. And they would throw him a bone now and then and have the other one main event, but it was almost always the Raw one was the real one.
I think what Bomber is like, I think I can understand. I think I get where you're coming from, thinking that it could work, but I think the odds of them taking something like this seriously and really sticking to it and having a long-term game plan and doing everything that they have to possibly do to get it over is going to fade within 3 months, and they're going to get bored of it, because Vince always gets bored of everything, and that's it. But like, I see it. If they had a good game plan, I think that the first time around, I think it was a good idea. I think that the fact that they create a competition within the company could work, because that was the boom period versus WCW, ECW. But they don't have the capability to do it. They don't. They end up getting bored of it.
Yeah.
And
So, like, when you say they don't have the capability, do you think that's like, is that a writer? You think that's a writer thing?
Yeah, it's a writer thing.
Well, there's no real
It's
competition.
Vince. Yeah, it's Vince.
There's no real competition because both brands answer to Vince at the end of the day, and Vince is always going to side with fucking Raw.
Yeah, they have to make both brands a 50-50. None of this. Raw is the flagship show, so we're going to give them the slightly better guys or the slightly better. They have to treat them as a complete and utter separate 50-50 entity, and they won't do it. They never will. Ever.
They never even did with WCW. They treated it inferiorly forever.
That's true. That was WCW. They got shit
yeah,
on
but there was the legit competition. Then when they brought it in, look, this is the actual guys that we told you about. And you're like, yeah, you told us they were shit for 10 years. Why do we care now? I don't get this. So they literally absorbed Nitro and still can't spin off a show.
Now,
and it was rough. We went through it, and it was like, there's some really bad stuff. You can look back fondly now, like people do with Attitude Era, but it was punch kick the match. That's it. It was character.
Was awful.
that
one of the
brand split is the same thing. It was the Billy and Chuck Rikishi Rico stuff. That's not what we don't want more Goldust and R-Truth stuff. We want actual stuff to happen.
The brand split was like literally the lowest point I can remember. That was when they were like not even close to selling half of the tickets in the arenas, and they were putting up the black tarps. And they realized half their stars were on one show and half of them were on the other. So why the fuck would people pay to see half your stars?
They were exclusivizing the shows. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I went from watching maybe watching both shows to not caring about either. Because you diluted both.
Well, I was thinking I had a comparison. I think it would be comparing to like the Harry Potter films or the Hunger Game films, how they got to the final book and they split it into two movies. And people in theory, they're like, oh, this is great. This means that you can go really in depth on it and kind of like really absorb the book and show it all in the movie. But then you watch the movies and it's like, there is a lot of filler crap that they did not need to include in here, and that's because they're killing time so they can make these movies the proper length that they need to be to do two movies.
Matt, that was about money.
Matt, we can
like splitting the Hobbit into 3 parts.
It was boring. It was a lot of it was filler, boring crap.
It's men with beards who talk and sing, sometimes with a dragon. You can compare it to comic books, Matt. I mean, you know Fantastic Four in that. Imagine Fantastic Four. They said we're going to make 2 books instead, one with Reed and Sue, one with Thing and Torch.
Yeah. Well, they just.
I want all four though.
I guess they went through a similar problem with Agents of Shield, which I don't watch, but I know that they were trying to do a offshoot with two of the more popular characters to get their own series. They did the pilot, and they were like, "Oh,
they wrote them out of the show."
maybe taking the two popular people away for their own show wasn't a smart idea," and they said, "Fuck it," canceled it, and put them back.
Yeah, they wrote them out of the existing show, which
Yeah.
took away from the show part of what they liked that was being spun off. And the new show didn't work out. They axed it along with Agent Carter. So now they're going to try to feed them back in, but it's like the whole Marvel, all these Avengers things are great and awesome, but what if you only got Captain America movies and Tony movies? They're not going to make them together anymore ever. It's like, no, the fun is to have them able to be against each other. That's the cool part.
Yeah,
I want to be able to see AJ Styles face Kevin Owens. And if they're on different brands, we can't. Unless it's maybe the Rumble. Well, fuck.
And I like one advantage or one thing, I could be wrong, but like one thing I'm kind of hopeful for with this type of situation is the Avengers movie being split into two. But I think that warrants it because they're bringing in every single character from the Marvel universe, so they have a lot of people to fit in and a lot of things that they can do with it. They're not taking the existing team of Avengers, splitting them in half, and going, "Oh, watch Avengers Part 1 for the Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Captain America, and watch Avengers Part 2 for Tony Stark and Hawkeye, who still sucks, and everybody else."
Yeah, no, they're just making a 5-hour movie. And they realize they can't put that in theaters, so...
Yeah, and I'm fine
They
with
even
that.
said they want to change the names of that from Part 1 to Part 2, so there's that.
So yeah,
But
it's crap all around. Don't like it.
I like the idea of having everything... Everyone should want that title. Every woman should want that title.
Should
All
be
the
one thing
teams
that
should
you're
want
fucking-
those titles. And
Yeah.
your stepping stone should be these titles. And I know people don't even like the fact there's an IC and a US. Some people want those unified.
Hate it. They should have unified those things at the last.
And I understand that. I like the fact there's both because they're two long histories, but I get there being one secondary title. And I'm fine with that too. I get that. But the idea of having, I want the best championship on this brand, well, no. And that gets even weird too, because what if AJ Styles is over on SmackDown and he never gets to be WWE champion? I'll be kind of bummed out. Because that's the whole thing. You've always wanted to see him win that title. It's the Benoit situation.
He's never going to get it
It's a
anyway.
Christian
So.
situation. You know what I mean,
say.
though. But
Like,
now there's not even the chance on the near falls. It's just not. It's no.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
I've
not-
been wanting...
And I'm wrong. I think he's going to win that eventually. But
I don't think he's going to get the
this
WWE.
is his dues. This is his dues right now, losing. So
That's true. So here, I'm wondering, why are... There's nothing wrong with what you guys... Obviously, everybody's opinion. So why is everybody so... I'm seeing overwhelmingly positive
we're in the
things from
minority.
this.
Yeah,
it's because they love it the same way they love the Attitude Era, and they misremember why they love it.
Yeah, a lot
They
of
love
people
the characters. The
look back
matches
on the
suck
draft.
of the Attitude Era. The
Yeah.
matches are all punch
Oh,
kicks.
they're awful.
people
They're
in
almost
black-
unwatchable. They're like the fan reactions are great, but like if you watch it from a technical standpoint, the Attitude Era was almost unwatchable.
They almost
Like,
all look the same. They're in dark
every match
black.
was just tons
It's all
of
grungy and
punches.
dirty.
Good work rate for them to like live because nobody took like any risks whatsoever. They just like Austin's matches. Good lord, the only moves that he would do literally were just punches, his Thez press, his mud stomps, and a stunner. He would do nothing else in the Attitude Era, and like
was
but it was over
Hogan-like.
like shit.
It was Hogan-like, where it's I'll do a few things, and the
Yeah.
crowd will ape shit and love it.
But the quality of work was abysmal. But that's what I think Scott's right, because every time, like I've even had conversations with people where they go, "Man, I miss the Alliance," and I'm like, "Oh my god, no!
Whoa.
That is like literally the darkest point in wrestling history. It was the worst." And like, "Oh man, this has nothing over the Alliance era. That I loved watching all the WCW guys interact with the WWE guys." I'm like, "Oh."
See, I get aspects of that, but it was done so poorly. Why would you like it?
But that's it though. Is that people
I
don't
liked
look
the idea
on-
of a crossover, but then the execution's shit. So
Yeah.
they like the idea of there being that, because eventually, maybe in 2 years, when AJ Styles is squaring off with John Cena, it's the first time ever. Oh my God, lols!
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
You were looking forward to those future moments, but
you could
got
say,
a long
you could
way to
say
go to
that
get
that is a like from earlier Bomber. You could say that's a potential positive. I guess is that they could make a WrestleMania main event, say like a lot more special. The idea that they could keep two guys away from each other for like 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden, you know, even though these guys had faced before, they could pop them up in the main event, and it seems a little more special because they haven't had interaction for a few years. But like that's a lot to sacrifice by destroying your TV show for 2 or 3 years.
Like, you'll get
one
Angle
match.
and Michaels, which was great. You'll get Orton and Undertaker, which was great. You'll get stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and moments
Lesnar and Goldberg, which, okay. But you'll get those kind of moments. Cool, but that's literally on WrestleManias.
And that's just lazy writing, too, because if they were good at their job for writing and building up storylines, they can make any match interesting.
Oh,
like,
God,
they
that's a whole
they just
nother
have
story.
to try. Yeah, they just have to try.
Creative has nothing for you. Well, then fire them.
Yeah, right? Like, that's the
Fire
worst
the-
thing I've ever heard. When guys get fired and they go, oh, yeah, creative has nothing for you. Well, then creative shouldn't have a fucking job. Like, if Damien Sandow, they had nothing for him, they should have fired whoever it was that told him, oh, well, we
Yeah.
have nothing for you.
Their job is to make stuff for the guys. If they can't do it, you're fired.
You're being unappreciative.
Well, at
But on the
same
flip
time,
side, when the guys do their own thing and they get shit on for it because we never made it, that's you, like your Zack Ryders and that. It's a lose-lose.
Well, there is the perspective from actual creative where it's like, okay, Cody Rhodes comes up to us every week, 5 times a week, saying, I want to change back to my original character. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they'll take it to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon will shut it right the fuck down. Then what can they do?
Find something with the character. Give him a reason to like it. Do your job and write.
You know, Lee has a point. I mean, like, it does all kind of filter back to the fact that Vince is an out-of-touch old fuck that needs to die. But there's nothing you can do about that. So it's just.
I never thought I'd say it's better when Triple H takes over, but I think it will be.
Oh my god, it will be. It will be.
I never thought I would say that, but it actually would.
Yeah, a million times. The fact that he hasn't even been on TV right now, I think, is an indication that he doesn't. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't mind it when they go, "Hey, we're going to put you in the WrestleMania main event." I'm sure he doesn't mind it, but I remember him saying,
promoter son it. He's like, we need to rely on the promoter's son. Okay.
There's a full time that a couple times he said in interviews at Full Sail where they've talked about NXT, like little YouTube videos you can find. And they ask him, you know, if you stopped wrestling in the ring today, would you be okay with it? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I would be perfectly content with just doing the creative side at this point. He loves the NXT brand is his baby, so he loves that. But they still need talent because their roster's so thin. So he doesn't mind stepping in and doing it. But like, I honestly don't think that he cares all that much about it as much as he did a few years ago.
And he'll give a rub to a Roman Reigns or something like that, and that's even Ambrose got something out of that too.
Yeah,
so
I would say Triple H's last run was actually pretty good. I mean, I didn't feel like he crushed anybody or held anybody down, but at the same time, he probably shouldn't have been in that spot to begin with. It should have went to somebody younger. But you know, it's already
but he still did well as like the legend who can still go. But there's chinks in the armor.
Yeah, I liked it.
I like how the highlight was against like Ambrose. That was to me that was like the real highlight of his last run.
Yeah, the Roman match and that special were great.
It
that
was
should have been WrestleMania main event. And then now Ambrose is like, who was it? It was Solomonster I was listening to, and Solomonster was like, it seems like Ambrose has an ice pack on his on his back. Like he couldn't get any colder right now because they took away all his momentum and they just killed his push.
Well, I mean, he got neutered by Lesnar, which was the worst thing.
Yeah, that was.
He should have went on his Shield, not.
And we called that. Yeah, we called that. I mean, a lot of people did. That was. Man, that was. It took everything. Went out of the sales there.
If I still say next WrestleMania, if they give him a rematch with Brock and he beats Brock, then all can be forgiven because then I can see it working. But it's not going to happen. Like they're going to keep Brock for Roman.
I got a question. Okay, I just thought about that. Where's Brock gonna fall in this draft? This maybe not draft, but this Raw. But he literally shows up for like
Raw
3 shows.
He was on one taped SmackDown of this whole
Raw.
thing to help, and that was to help bolster the season beginning. That's how this works. Let's
They
put
will
the big things on there for this.
They'll do a thing where, like, if they don't draft him, they'll do a thing where he, like, comes on in a couple months and he'll, like, come to SmackDown, then he'll go to Raw, and they'll be like, oh, what's he going to side with? And immediately Raw.
Like Steiner did.
That's pretty cool.
I could see Paul Heyman going, my client is a free agent, and he is taking the highest bidder, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
It's Raw, though.
We literally... that story happened. He was the champ, and he went with Stephanie.
Yeah, it's all happening again, yeah.
Yes, it's the same thing. Same execution.
Literally.
So I was looking back in 2002 is where I was looking at the original draft here, the original brand split here. And I'm looking at the draft, the top 20 picks that they did on Raw or whatever. Holy shit. This is so much weaker than what we have right now. Looking at their top 20. Maybe to me that's a good thing. I'm looking at these top 20, and it's so.
I can tell you right now, there's a lot
weaker.
more character that was involved there. people were over and established a lot more in that draft, if I remember correctly,
Well, I
than
think
this
that
one.
they cared more about their mid card back then. Like
They did.
they now it's about basically.
Well,
it's
that led
about-
to the SmackDown 6, remember?
Yeah,
So-
it's about Roman, and then they have like 5 guys who are upper card, and then everybody else is basically a mid card that can be rotated to upper card. But like back then, you would have like a Hurricane Helms would come out, and people like really he was over. But like now they don't. Now they have a Damian Sandow who I would put in the same amount of over, and instead they just release him because fuck
Yeah.
you. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do have more talent. I think the wrestlers are obviously better, and apparently they put
Yeah,
out
more
put out
talent.
well, they're signing a bunch of people from that cruiserweight thing. Like that's
Yeah,
apparently
oh,
a really
God,
big push. Like they're doing this
Yeah.
apparently to sign a bunch. They're not going to sign all of them, but they're going to sign quite a few of those guys. And then I guess they're going around the indie scene and they're just signing up everybody they can because they want to fill the roster. And yeah, great, that's admirable. But what's going to happen when in 3 months Vince goes, I'm bored of this now. Give me a new ball to play with. And he just says fuck SmackDown, and they have all these people. They're just gonna have to like go. Okay, well, sorry, Vince is bored.
And
now.
that happened before, because when they tried to bring in all these new guys, all these random ones, no one cared because they weren't established. There were bigger stars then,
Yeah.
better guys and better athletes now, better character, maybe even not better characters, but they were bigger stars back then. So now you're gonna get all these new guys brought in, and you're gonna get farts like Mordecai.
Yeah, I wanted.
You're gonna get stuff like that, where like
I wanted NXT
I have no reason.
guys to get called up like faster. I want like Joe and Balor should already be on the main roster. I was like, this is ridiculous that these guys
Oh,
are sitting there for so long. But
Finn-
I didn't want them to fucking bleed the whole fucking roster dry. Like no way Jose is gonna debut on SmackDown because they don't have a choice, and he's not ready.
Yep.
He's not over.
We're gonna. I've been thinking before all this stuff. I'm like, well, AJ is going to be feuding with the guys in the club, so he'll probably have Finn come up, and that'll be a cool tandem against that. Cool, but now who the fuck knows?
I don't know
what they're going to do with that.
I think they're going to separate them personally. I think that's what the whole point. Like at first I thought it was going to be a storyline, but now I think they're just going to put the club on like SmackDown and AJ on Raw and just get rid. Like they had to write them off so that they weren't a unit, so that when they draft them they don't have to stay together.
That's so weird
Yeah.
that they even like did this if it lasted 1 month with the
Yeah,
whole
I don't
club.
understand it either, honestly.
That's
I think they
really
just
weird.
really don't want to turn AJ heel, but why not at this point? Because he wouldn't be a heel. He would be like
He'd be a heel face,
but he get
yeah.
a face reaction. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't really understand why.
Oh, he'd be a bulletproof kind of guy. Like even if he loses, which he did to Roman, he's fine. Kind of like in a
Yeah.
Razor Ramon way. He could lose to anybody and still come back strong.
Yeah, that's-
Ambrose, they could have almost done that with, but they
No,
almost
Ambrose
damaged
is
him too much.
hurting. Ambrose
Him-
is bleeding internally right
He's
now.
hurting like Wyatt in a way.
I
But
have a theory
there's
on
guys they could do stuff like that with.
I have a
But,
theory on Ambrose though. Like when they had that, well, this will get towards the cage match, so I won't really get into it. But they highlighted the fact that Ambrose is very similar to Perry Saturn.
Yeah,
That reference, and I'm like, oh, I
That
get
was
it now.
terrifying to hear that.
They don't want like intense, crazy, aggressive Dean Ambrose. They want wacky, insane, lovable Dean Ambrose, and that's like the total Dean Ambrose I don't fucking want.
because he's a good guy.
Yeah, I hate that.
Like when Sheamus turned face way back when Mark Henry was looking for guys to fight, Sheamus
Oh,
came out and
yeah,
like,
he was
I'll
great.
fight him.
Oh, it was great.
And that's all
that was
it
such
was.
a good face
And it
turn.
was so good. I'll fight him. Like, cool,
Yeah,
he'll
I'll
fight
fight
anybody.
you.
But then he started
Yeah.
doing silly Irish stories. Like, no, don't do that. Just have some fight guys. He doesn't
What a
even
lass,
look
the
good.
kick in the ass. How dare
Have
you?
him just fight guys and turn it on them. Rock didn't change anything when he turned. He just turned who we focused it on.
Yeah.
That was good. Sheamus shouldn't have started doing silly stories. It got too silly. Ambrose has gone too silly with his stuff. Just have him be a whack job who fights anything.
Yeah,
It's
I
not that
like.
hard.
I think Ambrose is like my favorite Ambrose moment is still when Reigns got hurt. Was it the intestinal issues? And Rollins was out there talking shit about him, and then they just had Dean like come in from the back and just come out and beat the shit out of Seth. I was like, that is the Ambrose I want. Like
Yes.
I want this guy that does not care who you are. He's gonna get in your face. He's gonna fight you. And like they showed shades of that against Lesnar, but then they had him like low blowing him and like being a
Yeah.
dick and like doing chicken shit tactics where you're like, really? Like what?
That didn't work either.
No, it
They-
didn't at all.
Yeah, they shouldn't be afraid to let their guys become like just sort of not too subtle rip-offs of previous characters. I mean, I'm okay with Dean Ambrose being pretty much an analog for Roddy Piper at this point. I mean, they should really
just
let
don't-
him just do
Piper.
it.
And Terry Funk.
in Terry Funk. I mean, but no, they're gonna make him a goofy asshole, and it's like I don't want to watch him. Yeah,
This reminds me of Perry Saturn. Remember
I
Andy?
will never. I will never make that reference ever.
That's what they did, though. They fucking did.
If he starts talking to his mop and then he disappears in real life for like 5 years and someone finds him in a trailer park, fat and out of shape somewhere, I'm going to be really, really depressed.
Well, he did talk to his plant, so we're on our way.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's right. Damn it.
I hate that.
Mitch.
So I don't know. I don't know where we're at with this discussion now, but I still,
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to end well. And you know, I'm gonna try my absolute best to have an open mind with it. But it's
Are you
hard-
sure? Are you sure? It doesn't sound like.
No, well, I mean, I don't have a choice. I'm going on this roller coaster regardless. Like, if somebody said, "Oh, Matt, you should stop watching,"
I
I
saw that.
can't. It's cocaine. I've done this for 10 years. I can't fucking stop the crack. All right, I need this sugar.
Well, when it's bad, it's bad, but when it's good, it's
That's-
fucking good, right? So that's
No,
that's why it's hard.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my absolute best to fight my urges to just completely 100% hate it. I'll 98% hate it instead. But like, it's
There you go.
really hard to stay positive in any way when everything they're doing is the same thing that set up the last time where it
I don't
failed.
know. I don't know, because I remember earlier we were arguing about how everybody's always doing the same. Everybody's always just fighting the same people, and like I know they're going to be doing that on their separate shows, but we're not going to be seen. They're going to be separated more, and we will hopefully get to see when they do drafts, like hopefully every year or every other year, whatever they do. You're going to finally get to see a separation between a lot of the guys and then when they finally do come back to face each other again, it's going to be different. It's going to be hopefully
I
new.
know, but you have to sit through like four pay-per-views of the same match.
But if
With the shows too.
Yeah,
With the Raws and SmackDowns. Instead of
see
there
how-
being 50 guys to choose from, now there's 20. There's
Yeah.
only so many they can go against, unless they bolster them both to 50, which, good fucking luck.
like
not gonna happen.
I know it seems super. I mean, I'm looking down the roster and I see like a good amount of people. I mean, I know obviously they are thin in theory and whatnot, but I'm seeing a really a strong group of people. Like,
And can I just stop you right there? Isn't
Sure.
it great they can all face each other?
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, like they're taking away
That's-
variety.
Period. Like, I know they have enough to make 2 shows, but it's awesome when they have the best of.
Yeah, because right now it's just been like
That's me.
since
Now I'll
Mania,
let you
it's
finish
been
that.
good.
Sorry, but that's literally my point of it all.
That's
I
what
mean,
I
yeah,
like.
they don't have to. They don't even have to split the damn brands to make the SmackDown the focus on certain guys and certain things. I mean, they're doing that now. They don't need to split the shows
Well,
to do that.
It's like when Bryan became Intercontinental Champion, even before he got hurt again. The plan was, and what he said is that he wanted to be featured only on SmackDown and be like the IC champion of SmackDown, and they agreed they were going to let him do that. So they were trying to transition him to being like a SmackDown guy. They didn't need a brand split for that. He just chose to be on a show and kind of carry it on his own. Like you don't have to do a brand split for that to have certain guys featured on certain shows.
The U.S. Open by Cena was always on Raw. No reason it couldn't have been on SmackDown too.
I mean,
It's just
true,
they can
but-
just do that.
SmackDown. That's
Exactly.
why.
The old joke is Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. Remember that? So
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
it.
Oh my
There's no
God.
reason to not do that stuff.
I heard the best joke ever. It was AJ Styles and what's her name from TNA?
Dixie.
Yeah, Dixie. And it was like Dixie complaining to AJ like, oh, I see you. AJ doesn't want to work Tuesdays, and he's like, Dixie, can you please give me my extra large soda? I have to get to the show soon.
I saw one where Dixie talks about Impact moving to Saturday. Because here's the thing,
Yeah.
Impact is on Tuesday.
Yeah, they're
by
gonna kill
the way,
Hey, you know
they're
what's
like,
down
we'll
this?
move it to Saturday. They don't work on Saturday, right?
Yeah, they did that on purpose. And like one other thing we didn't touch down on too is the fact that somebody pointed. It was Lance Storm actually pointed this out. The fact that when there's a pay-per-view, okay, so that's 3 hours of wrestling. Then the next day there's Raw, that's another 3 hours, and then Tuesday that's 2 hours. So and you know what? I have an inkling that SmackDown's going to go to 3 because if they want to compete with Raw, they have to make them the same amount of time. So if it does do that, holy shit, my life is dead for 3 days out. I don't have time for this. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's awful. It's too much wrestling. One show is enough.
And plus, I'm watching like New Japan and ROH and shit like that.
I can't even do that. You're lucky.
I mean, yeah.
But it's too much wrestling, but it's also diluted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that. I mean, again, like I keep saying, prove me wrong, but it's. I don't even watch it as it is that much when it's all possible good, and let's dilute the two. Hold on, why no?
Yeah, I don't like it at all. It like focus on your writing and your storylines and your character development. Don't try to throw the stupid gimmicky shit at me because I know you're using the same writers that have been fucking balls for the last 2 years. That's not going to improve. Like your storyline isn't going to get better because of a gimmick.
So we interrupted all that when you were looking down the roster. If you want to go back to that.
Well, I mean,
this long, deep roster, which, like I said, is weak in some places, but I mean, they always are somewhere.
yeah. I mean, well, I was just looking it over. I'm just saying, like, judging by what I see here, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't look that bad. I know some people obviously would think different, but I'm just going over it, and it doesn't seem as bad as I initially thought. Like, as I actually have the roster, and I'm just going down it, it shows to me like it's a lot more potential than I thought it did when I originally did think about everything. So it makes me feel a little bit better. But like I said, I don't disagree with you guys. It's just I'm hopeful, and I'm really hoping that they can go through and carry it on for a long-term deal instead of just like I said, I still think it's going to be good short-term.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody disagrees with you. I mean, they're going to get a huge boost in business from it, but like this isn't a move you make on a short term. You have to make this work long term, or it's pointless.
And
our main contention is the fact that we've seen them try this and fail it before.
Yeah.
Pretending that they never did it before, looking at it, even that alone is, I don't watch SmackDown as it is. That's too much. They're going to split what they have. Why would I want to see two halves?
I remember
even without any history. That's my thought on it.
I was pretty happy about it when they did it the first time. I thought it was a pretty good idea because they lacked the competition and it was something different. But like it failed. They tried. It failed. It worked for a little bit. But like why? My biggest problem is why are they going back to the well on something that failed? Like try a new idea. Try something different. Then don't keep trying something that fails because something that failed for a reason. It's not going to work.
One of the best things they did, though, when they first had it, was they had the one title both were chasing.
Yeah, and I like that.
And if they're going to do two titles, that's the worst thing to do. If they have one title, that's the only way I could see it maybe working. That means both are equal footing for it. If they try to make a secondary title...
I was thinking about that with the whole having one world champion deal, and obviously I would prefer that, but the more I thought about it, the more, like, that seems... impossible to keep going because if you always have one person coming on both shows, if say Reigns is feuding with Rollins who's on Raw, and then Reigns goes over to SmackDown, what the fuck is he gonna do on SmackDown?
No, well, I mean that's what I'm saying. The best case scenario was when Undertaker was on SmackDown, he was feuding with Angle, and then on Raw he was feuding with Jeff Hardy.
So then, who did he face at the pay-per-view?
Well, no, that's when they had brand exclusive pay-per-views. So he would fight. He actually fought Jeff on Raw, but back then, Undertaker would fight whoever the Raw challenger was, on the Raw exclusive, and then the following month he'd fight whoever the SmackDown was on the SmackDown one. Like that's how it
was
worked.
Pretty cool because they were literally trying to sabotage each other to get there. Triple H, when he lost the title, showed up angry on Raw. He was a SmackDown guy. Mm-hmm. He showed up, is like, "You're not supposed to be here. What's going on?" That was cool.
It was a cool moment. They tried to get rid of it. Yeah, they tried to get him out, but like he still beat up people, and it was an interesting positive.
That's interesting.
I can see maybe that's the only way they can do a single title is if they do have brand exclusive pay-per-views. But then again, I know we already talked about that. I don't even see that being a thing either. Having brand exclusive pay-per-views.
No, I don't see them doing that. And I regretfully see them doing another world title, which there's no way around that. It's going to be secondary. Yeah, and this is the thing that happened. When they did the one draft, Cena was WWE champ on SmackDown, and Batista was world champ on Raw. This is 2005. And they had the draft, and Batista got drafted to SmackDown. Cena got drafted to Raw. And they had a pay-per-view, Raw, and they had both world titles. It was crazy and fun. SmackDown, Teddy Long, GM, he even said, "We're not going to do anything about this. We're going to wait till the draft is over at the end of the month." They go through, there's drafts all through the month, and at the end, they actually have one more draft to go, and on that SmackDown, they have a fatal four-way for a SmackDown championship.
Yeah.
They're calling it the SmackDown Championship, and it's in a black bag, and it's all ready to go. JBL wins it. He's like, "I'm the SmackDown champion. Name me the champion. Give me my belt." Teddy Long's like, "Hold on, playa. we have a final draft, and it's this man,
It was
and it's
so
Batista drafted with the world title. Like
Yeah, it was so
you
dumb.
said you weren't going to do anything about a SmackDown title until the draft was over.
Yeah,
Now you're going to make one, and it was so secondary. But now we don't even do SmackDown title. We have the world title now. Hey, here it is. And
It
you're
was
the number
like
one
if you ever
instead.
wanted like
Did I
a
just
red
describe a
flag-
good situation? No.
If you ever wanted to show like a red flag that wrestling is fake, that was it. it was like we have one more draft, and somehow we got the other world title. It's like,
And then-
yeah, this bullshit is fake.
Like
That's-
but how much more secondary could that have gotten? For a
And
SmackDown
at some point, did Teddy Long go, "We're gonna make it a tag team match tonight, player"?
No, I think he's like, we're going to make it a fatal four-way play, but I think that's about
Yeah,
it.
that's
Or
hilarious.
one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Yeah, I wonder what show he's going to get drafted onto. How about that?
WrestleMania.
I don't think he is. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a show person.
He'll be on the WrestleMania draft.
All right.
Yeah, I think he's just one of those guys that gets to pop up wherever he wants.
All right, so obviously we could talk about this forever, and we will talk about it because it was just announced today. We're recording this on Wednesday, by the way, obviously. So this was just announced today, so we don't know a lot of things. I assume there's going to be a draft. They haven't even said there's going to be an official draft yet.
They did say there's going to be a
Yeah,
draft.
they said,
They said the word draft, or did they just say
did. They're-
split?
They didn't say a date, but they
impending
assumed it's going to be
draft.
Raw. The Raw
Okay.
before.
This goes live in like what a month, half a month?
July 19th, I
With the
thought I
June
saw.
draft, I think it was. Yeah, it's coming up quick.
They confirmed a draft. They just
Okay.
haven't confirmed a date yet.
Okay,
Or
cool.
any specifics or anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
so we'll definitely. I was hoping, like, as soon as I heard this, I was like, this should be cool. I would hope like that we could do, I don't know how, but if we could somehow do a draft on the show to see how accurate we could be, but I don't know if anybody would be down for that now that everybody fucking hates this idea.
Dude,
that is a lot of work.
Former drafts were dog shit because they were drafting like announcers and managers and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like
You could just- yeah.
they don't get the pick. It was just a random like, Raw, because you won this match. Raw will get Billy.
Yeah.
And Raw won this match. You get the ECW champion. It's like, it's just random numbers. There's no actual, I want the 10 best. It wasn't anything like that.
Well,
If we get one of those, I'm more interested. But
like I said,
I doubt.
I'm hoping everything is gonna go perfect this time.
I thought I
how
was always
we-
optimistic, but man, you got me beat
Yeah.
on that.
I like how like the three of us are kind of just like hammering it out, and Bomber is like, I hope.
I mean, I do.
Your argument is just, I hope it works out. Vince loves you, Bomber. He
if
loves
there was
you.
anything that I could say positive about this is they've been through it before. They can learn from their mistakes.
Exactly.
However,
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's Vince
They never do,
McMahon
They never
who's
do.
been through it before.
They know what
he
they
doesn't
fucked.
learn from his mistakes.
No, they
But
don't know
Triple
when they
H is
fucked
now
up,
on
though.
the outside. Maybe.
If Triple H was in charge of this, I think I would actually have a chance to be more hopeful about it. But I know it's just the same. It's Vince, and Vince he never learns from his mistakes. Never.
me.
You're good.
Under any circumstance. So if Vince is still the one that's in charge of this, I have very little hope that they're going to learn from any.
Well,
It's-
he's obviously he's gonna be in charge of this.
yeah. So
Yeah.
why would anything change? Because Vince, like, he doesn't learn. This is the same man that thought WrestleMania 30, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, should have been main evented by Batista and Randy Orton.
They're the
That's
two
all I
biggest
really need to
stars.
say. That's all I need to say. Like that.
Yep.
That would have been the biggest dog shit of a main event of WrestleMania I've ever seen.
All right, so here we go. Let's
Pay-per-view
let's
time.
go into the pay-per-view real quick and talk about what our thoughts were on Extreme Rules. We'll have so much more time to talk about the draft and the brand split and everything. So, all right, how do you guys want to do this? We didn't.
I think we should just do highlights. Let's just go to each of
Highlights?
us, say what we liked, didn't like, real quick. Because if we go
Okay.
through every match, it's gonna take forever.
Yeah, that's true. Let's
Not
let's-
really if there's only two worth talking about.
That's what I mean, though. But if we go through every single match, though, like match by match, it's gonna take years.
Gotcha. All right. Well, who wants to start? Who wants to start off? Anybody? Anyone raise your hand? Anybody?
I only saw highlights, so I can literally talk on highlights.
There we go. All right, go for it.
The Jericho Ambrose stuff was disappointing per usual with these guys because like we talked ad nauseum about Ambrose being neutered, and that's Perry Saturn, which sucks because he could be so much more. So I can leave it at that. At least he's winning these ones, which is good because Jericho should not be winning these matches.
Yeah.
There is that. The club didn't look any special against the Usos, which is a discredit to both of the guys.
At least they won. I heard a lot of people thinking that they were
They
going to
did.
lose.
No, there's no way they would have lost that.
Yeah, I know.
There's no way. But they should have been more wild brawling type to really get across the idea. But Women's title is what it is. Unfortunately, it's not. It's not the co-main event. It's still the death spot when it really should be the co-main event is what they're thinking to make it be. But it's just not working. And really, AJ Styles can do no wrong, except he's not winning yet. He's paying his dues. So,
Yeah.
but Roman, good God, his smarmy prick is amazing.
Oh, he's great.
His smarmy prick character is so good.
I'm having a lot of wars with people lately because I've ever since Mania, I like him. I like him a lot. I think
He earned it.
Well, they're giving him an edge and they're letting him be himself, which is something I've always said. I'd still prefer heel Roman. Like I think he would be a 5 out of 5 stars if they let him just be heel. But I really enjoy the fact that he's got a little bit of a prick edge to him now. He's got a tweener attitude going on.
Oh,
So he's
and I
great.
did leave out-
And I always said that he is an excellent wrestler, especially for how green he is. He's only been in the business for like
Very
3 or
good.
4 years, but he's excellent. And so this is a good role for him. I like it. It's in plus putting him with AJ was like that was whoever did that
Who
needs to
knew?
get a fucking raise because AJ is good with everybody. So
That's true. The one
Yeah.
I left out was the IC title match, which was pretty great. And yeah, Kalisto's bendy in the US title match. The IC title match, good God, those guys are great. That's why I don't want a brand split. Don't take these away.
Yeah.
You would never get stuff like Roman and AJ if you had a brand split. You'd never get that. You'd get Roman and Orton, Roman and Cena. You'd get that stuff. You wouldn't get AJ in there. So.
You get Owens and Ziggler or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Damn it.
And that's... But a couple years ago, that would have been great. But a guy like Ziggler gets neutered and screwed over. I'm surprised he wasn't released because I'm surprised he even stayed around. To be
I
brutally,
think he's staying
next.
until his contract runs out, and then he's
When
gone. No, I don't
Ryback
think he's
still
staying.
somehow didn't get fully on release, but
What was it? Somebody, because if apparently the rumor is that he's probably going to get released. But they were like, he'll go to TNA and be Ryborg.
Oh God, fucking Ryborg.
Somebody said that made me laugh so hard.
I could see that. But no, with the pay per view, they're on a good run after Mania.
Yeah, they are.
Overall, even
been
though there's only a
excellent.
couple shows, it's like they're ending well, and that's a big thing that the
Yeah.
brand split ones, if I can tie it back in, they had SmackDown exclusive ones end in DQs, and they had Raw exclusive ones end in shenanigans. The whole show gets shit on from that. Bad Blood was not well received. No Mercy was crap. But it's all because of the last ending. When you have a medium road show with a good match here and then a great main event, hey, everybody's happy. That's all people ask. When it's an entertainment show, cool. When it's UFC or boxing, you get what you get. But this is entertainment. It should always at least be something,
Yeah.
right?
I would say like
There's
an
no reason
example.
not to. So
An example would be like with AJ and Roman. Even though there were shenanigans in the match, they still had a clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
yes,
Both matches. So people, even though some people complained, the Roman Reigns people that don't like him complain that Roman just won. Either way, I'm satisfied because somebody won. Like I can't stand it when they do multiple pay-per-views to try and extend a feud by having somebody just get DQ'd.
now
That's
what
just
this
fucking-
shows
that's fucking
by him
annoying.
winning, even with some shenanigans, is he's able to overcome the
He's
shenanigans
the guy.
too.
Yeah, he's there.
He
making
is
him
the guy.
Finally,
So
finally.
it's working.
yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it.
Gotcha.
I'm intrigued with Rollins, but I'm disappointed that he went full on heel right out of the gate. It's like, no,
Yeah,
you
me
could have
too.
been the good guy. Damn it. But he's better as a bad guy, admittedly. So they didn't waste time on that. They edged him where it's good guy briefly, then he's bad again. But they're gonna cheer him anyway against Roman. So maybe Roman's got enough good graces from this, but
No, he doesn't. No, he's still gonna. I said on Twitter, I was like, it doesn't matter what he does. He's not gonna get over till he turns heel. So
Yep.
he's
just,
oddly
just enjoy the
Cena-like.
ride the best you can.
He is oddly Cena-like in that regard, where they're this.
Yeah.
He is getting good matches though too, because Cena got good matches out of guys like
I
Umaga
feel
and
like-
shit. So
I feel like they
it's good.
legitimately don't like Roman though. Like I feel like a lot of people
I don't-
just don't like him, but I feel like with Cena, he's got that kind of that veteran Ric Flair thing going on, where like
Big
they'll
Match
boo
John.
him, they'll boo him, but like people secretly really like Cena. Like even the people that boo him the most intense actually like him. It's just fun to boo him, but like a lot of people just literally do not like Roman, is what I'm finding out from Twitter feedback and YouTube feedback, because
He doesn't
when I
deserve
defend
it.
him-
He's the force-fed champion, all
yeah,
that same stuff.
I
but
think they just don't like him.
he's the earning. He's getting there though. But I mean,
I
Matt,
agree.
you spoke on the main event. What do you think of the whole thing?
I was gonna ask Lee first, because I sometimes
Okay.
I take all the information out and Lee doesn't have anything to say after because I said everything he was gonna say.
Fair enough.
Well, of course, I love the main event. It was awesome. I mean, those two just fucking gel together so
Oh,
well.
so
I
good.
mean,
So good.
they can just go back to it in the future, like in a year or so, and just do great fucking stuff. And I'm really excited with that. Um, I really liked seeing Rusev getting his fucking rehab, getting his title back. I want to see them, push him seriously again and have him, start running over people again like he should have been nonstop.
With Lana being hot as fuck.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be really cool if they do a big rematch feud with Cena and Cena puts him over this time. That would be awesome. I'd be up for that. And I'd like to see Kalisto now move down to the cruiserweight division and be maybe one of the big stars there. I think he did a really good job. I mean, about as good as you could expect for a guy who can't speak.
Yeah, I think he did good as
English.
U.S. champion. He had a good run.
No, Kalisto actually is fluent in English.
He's from Chicago.
Yeah, he's American. He just they made you think he can't though.
well, the thing is, they had him doing commentary on a couple matches, and man, he was bad.
Okay, you mean his mic skills are terrible.
Yeah,
He's
his mic
just-
skills are
Chicago.
bad.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I thought you meant he couldn't literally speak. But yeah, no, he's just not good on the mic. Yeah, I got you.
I really like the IC belt match. I kind of wish Cesaro would sort of hold back on the fucking uppercuts a bit. It's starting to get a little overexposed and it's kind of looking weak to me. Like it's like he's just all uppercuts and they're not doing anything.
The ones in the corner are annoying.
Yeah, I'd like to see them be like an end match kind of thing where he starts throwing them near the end of the match. He's really firing up then and he's really going to fuck some dude up. And but yeah, that was a really great match. And like you guys said, it's a 2-match show. And I also I had basically 2 pet peeves. One in the IC match, I kept seeing guys trying to stop other guys from doing moves, like top rope moves onto other guys. Why? Let them do it first, then pin the guy. Or throw the fresh guy out of the ring and pin the guy who just had the move done to him. It makes no sense to me at all. They were trying to do those fucking like triple decker fucking suplex sunset flip fucking suplex bullshit out of the corner. I hate those. They suck. The other thing, I want JBL to shut the fuck up.
Oh,
I'm getting so. It's getting to the point now, like, I've never really liked his commentary, but it's getting to the point now where I'm getting so fucking pissed off. Listen to this guy. This is the best team out of Japan. They're not from Japan, motherfucker. And they're not the best tag team out of fucking Japan either. It's bullshit. Just like fucking Stan Hansen and fucking... They're not Japanese. They're an American team that was in Japan. They're not a Japanese team out of fucking Japan. And I hate it. I hate his fucking name dropping. He's just using it to fill in for the fact that he actually doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He had one good line on Raw, though, that made me laugh, because he was like, Byron, if you were on live support, I would unplug it to plug in my phone.
Yeah, I heard that. That was a good one.
He took heat on that, by the way.
What?
There were people going around saying that that he got in trouble for that because it's a non-PG joke. I mean, basically, he said he killed Byron Saxton. They were saying he got in trouble for that. I'm like, I don't know if it's true or not. I hope not, because it was fucking funny.
That was a great, that's a great line. That was at the pay-per-view. I heard that one, yeah.
Oh, it was a pay-per-view. Okay,
Yeah, it was
that
at
was a
pay-per-view.
good one. That made me chuckle a little. But I agree. I think he's awful. I think their whole commentary team on Raw is fucking unbearably bad. Like, even King looks pretty good now. The fact that King is back to being a heel and that he's a dick to the guy that yells all the time.
Ronaldo. He's actually got someone he can fucking ping off of instead of some loser.
Yeah, at first I was kind of worried about that because I remember I watched and I was like, God damn, King's being a dick to this guy. Like, it didn't even seem like it gelled. But after a month or two, it was like, okay, I get it. Like, his character fucking hates this guy. And I
mean, Ronaldo is a fucking pro. I mean, this guy was a fucking manager as a teenager and like Canadian independence and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's been in the wrestling business most of his life too. So, I mean, they're just working together really well.
Yeah.
So
You want me to go? It sounds like I'm going next. Oh,
no, I'm going next. You're last. You're the host.
Motherfucker, what are you going to make me in for? Okay.
The IC title. I don't care if you have nothing to say. The IC title match was the best match on the card. It was really good. I agree that the uppercuts are definitely starting to get exposed.
Can I disagree with you now, or do I need to wait till I go?
You have to wait till your turn, buddy.
Damn it.
Sorry, very last. Okay. And I mean, like, I don't have a whole lot to say about it because I did the review already on the channel, so you can see my individual thoughts. But IC was the best one. It was just. I know some people give criticism to Cesaro, Owens, and Zayn for being spot monkeys, but in my opinion, there's a difference between being a spot monkey and telling a good story while being a spot monkey. I think that they're good storytellers. They have good psychology in the ring, and that's what separates them from like the Young Bucks who, like, no offense, I love the Young Bucks, I'm a big fan, but they usually don't tell much of a story. They just do a lot of really fucking awesome moves. So it's that type of thing. But with Owens and Zayn in particular, they can still go out there like their singles match they had last month. They went out there and yeah, sure, they did a bunch of spots, but like the entire time they were conveying their emotions. They told a story. It was psychology, so it was good.
And it was a match that actually flowed together, unlike fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, Fooper kick, Fooper kick, Fooper kick.
Yeah.
You.
So like that's the criticism I don't think is warranted when it comes to Owens and Zayn, because sure they do big moves, but like they know what they need to do to get over with both management and with the crowd. It's not just one or the other.
Oh,
so
that
it's really
haluva kick right at the beginning of the match.
I learned that's hell of
Yeah.
a kick. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Hell of a
That was so good.
That's how
I
it
hate
felt.
that. I hate that as a finish, though. By the way, I wish he has so many other good moves, and like it's such an awkward setup that he has to get him into the corner to do it. Not a big fan of that being a finish. I like it being a signature move, but I'm not big on that being how he finishes them. Like Owens has the perfect finisher because he
Yeah.
can do it anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter where you are, he can do it.
That was a great fucking start, though. Like, just bam,
Yeah.
right off the bat. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this shit just got real quick.
Yeah, it just shows how much he fucking hates him with a passion.
Yep.
The main event was really goddamn strong. Their chemistry just is it's up there with like I would put it up there with like Rock and Austin. Like they just the way they work with each other, it doesn't look awkward at all. And there was an argument I got into on Twitter with somebody where he was saying, "Well, AJ can make anybody look good," and I was like, "Well, then why didn't he make Jericho look
Exactly.
good?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Jericho is by definition, Jericho's a way better, more experienced worker than Reigns, and their matches always looked fake, choreographed. They weren't horrible, but they just weren't good and they didn't flow. They were just okay. And like when he's in there with Reigns, you can just tell Reigns knows. Like he knows they have it. Like just little things. He'll just toss AJ, and you just look on his face. He's in the zone. Like they've got this thing, and they know it's. Maybe that's why they prepared them. Like when they were in the Rumble, maybe Reigns kind of felt it and told management, "Hey, like I think I can do something really special with this guy.
God, I don't know about that.
You know, put me in." Because what do you mean you don't know about that?
Why would they listen? I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong, but
fucking
who the hell would
shit. Of
they
course
don't?
they're gonna listen to
That
him.
doesn't mean shit. You know
Yes,
that
it
that does
does.
not always mean anything. That does not mean anything.
If Roman Reigns goes to him and says, "I think I can have a really good match with this guy. He's popular and he can help get me over," I guarantee you they would listen to him and at least take it into consideration.
They
Especially if
should.
have a
They
plan.
should. I agree. They should. But I wouldn't say that they. I would not be surprised if they did not do. If
Why else
I
would he
wouldn't.
fight AJ Styles? Please throw it out there. Why you think management would be like, "We're gonna throw this guy who is brand."
Because somebody had a great fucking idea. That's why.
Yeah, Roman Reigns probably did.
I-
He could be any less to have the idea than like a writer. That's bullshit, Bomber. What a wow. you are-
I'm gonna say I would not put that past anybody to say like no. I would not listen to that if no. I would not say that
wouldn't
that's
put
a
it
thing.
past the fact that Roman realized that he had really good chemistry with somebody, and he asked for it, and they were like, "I mean, I guess whatever. Who gives a fuck? You just
I wouldn't. I just wouldn't be surprised if he had no like serious pull at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he didn't have anything.
I
At
call
the
bullshit.
same time, if he said, "There's no way I can make money with this guy. We have horrible chemistry." No, it sounds good. Go ahead.
I
It happened with Punk and Ryback, so
Or
I
your
can see
champion.
his argument too. But they didn't like Punk. So.
I feel
Yeah,
like
they didn't like
Yeah.
Punk.
You
They
have-
weren't
you have
putting
some
money
sort of
behind
say.
Punk.
Yeah.
But you do. You do have something. So
fuck CM Punk. The more and more that he bitches out on getting in the UFC,
That's-
Octagon, fuck CM Punk. But their chemistry is just spectacular. Like it's some of the best I've ever seen. There's something about them when they get in the ring with each other where it's like I could watch them fight 1,000 times, and that's a really, really rare chemistry for two guys to have. I don't really care that he kicked out of two of Styles' finishers. I don't care. Like I'm fine with that because the match is so good. I don't care how it ends. I just want to watch it, and it's just spectacular. The biggest letdown though was Jericho and Ambrose, was just fucking garbage. It was just garbage. The end was great. I liked the tax. I thought it was a fun little setup for it.
That
But
was good.
they made Dean look like a mid-card joke by comparing him to Perry Saturn. And it was 25 minutes long. 25 minutes for a match that should have went like 15.
Yeah, it was the longest match on the card.
Yeah, it was. I didn't like it at all. I just
like
was.
a
Their
TNA
match
cage
last month
match.
was so much better. It just I think they have good chemistry with each other too. I think that they have better chemistry than AJ and Roman do. or not AJ Roman, AJ and Jericho did.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
They clicked pretty good on their singles match. I liked it. Other than the kind of botched ending, it was good. But this was just. It was like who said it? It was a TNA match. That's what it felt like, a TNA match.
It was. I know it wasn't good. How
Wasn't-
how do they go into that and not pull out a good match? I don't understand how that was possible.
Way too much time. That's all I can think of.
Okay,
And then
okay.
the idea that they can't escape. They were like, "Oh, Jericho, the escaping doesn't win." Well, what happens if he just leaves? Like,
I
why
also-
was it up?
I also said this on Twitter. I think it also was hurt because of the fact they followed up the Fatal 4-Way match. I think that also kind of
It did-
took the
it didn't
crowd
help.
out of it.
It's bad. I mean, even if that opened the show, it was just bad. I was bored personally by watching them in that match.
I know you may not have thought about it, but I think it probably did have something to do with being completely burnt out on how amazing that Fatal 4-Way match was.
Yeah, but I mean, like
Oh, yeah.
Dean jumped off the top of the cage, and the crowd was like, "Okay." Like that.
Yeah.
That
I
way-
know that sucks.
Yeah,
That sucks.
because
But
they
that's what
saw,
I'm saying.
they saw
though. Like, it's just them following that match. Like, there was just something about that match that was too jokey for me.
Oh, yeah, I don't say like it's the only reason, but I think that definitely hurt the match.
It was one of the things, but it's still. I mean, like the fact that AJ and Roman brought the crowd back shows me that wasn't 100%. Because if the crowd was dead, they would have been dead.
Oh,
for
well,
that
that was like 3 matches later, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Still, though, I mean, like it's hard to bring back a crowd once they're dead.
It was
and-
dead for the Charlotte and Natalia match too.
because that was
pretty
fucking garbage too.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone was really into the Ambrose Jericho feud in the first place because what was this match about? Oh, you cut up my jacket.
Yeah.
Smash my plant. Smash my plant. Cut up my jacket.
That main event is Raw. I'm gonna cut up your
Yeah.
drag. They had that awesome 6-man tag on Raw, the Bullet Club and the Usos and Roman, and then they main evented with Dean Ambrose sucker punching Jericho and cutting up his jacket. Once again, doing something to somebody that seems like a dick move. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't make him look badass. It makes him look like an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
And with
But with
God,
Dean,
with
that's
Ambrose,
okay, I
with-
think.
with Jericho of late, though, it happened with AJ too. He's been in kind of a weird Triple H phase where he's trying to make an epic, but he's trying too hard to make it be an epic.
yeah. Well, like that's.
If you follow, right? That's I
yeah,
just don't
his
see.
match was a lot better with Ambrose because I don't think
Yeah.
he was trying to make. He was just trying to have a good match, so it was really
Yeah.
good. But then
Now he's
like-
trying to do this long, drawn-out epic. It's like no,
he was trying to fight AJ. Like all of AJ matches, I felt like he was trying to do too much, and it just came off awkward and just didn't quite work. I think he needs to just relax and just have fun with it and don't try too hard because it seems like he is.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, the Natalia thing is annoying because why does she hate her father so much?
I know. I really like Natalia too, but they. I
Mike?
got.
And, does she? Well, because Jim Neidhart's not his main event.
Yeah,
I
but
know. Not
Which
a
is
word
so-
was said that I heard
He's a
about
former
Neidhart.
champion. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
Jesus, just mention him. I don't. You don't have
back
to
in the
make
day,
him-
that was pretty good.
See, they could have had a great thing about Ric Flair's banned from ringside. Oh yeah, well then so's Bret Hart. Whatever.
Yeah.
Here comes the anvil. Oh no! Like
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
around it.
Have you seen Anvil lately? I don't know.
I haven't, but I don't want. I don't know if I want
I
to.
know he was
When he-
on Total Divas in the last year or so.
Really?
Yeah, when he wasn't busy robbing people's houses, he was on Total
Yeah,
Divas.
he's had some issues.
Oh, then he's
but
a
it's still
then he's a
okay
better
for-
threat than Bret Hart, who can barely walk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right. It's still okay for her to mention him. Come on, Natalia. But I like how they tried
Seriously.
to make Natalia a serious threat when, for the last year, she had like a farting gimmick and she's lost every match she's been in and she's barely
Yeah.
been on TV. And they're like, "Oh, she can beat her." No, she won't. she had no chance of winning that match.
True.
None.
And she's a good wrestler too. That's what.
Yeah, she's
kinda-
great.
that's what
She's probably
sucks.
one of the best they have on the roster, but they never
Mhm.
treated the character with respect, so nobody cares about her.
Yeah. That
That's
kinda
it.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all I really remember from the pay per view. Everything
Okay.
else. Oh, and yeah, you're right. Rusev's camel clutch was fucking unreal.
What
sick
about
looking.
that spot on the ring apron
Oh,
where he flipped him
yeah.
down? Oh, that was sick. That
But,
was
like,
nice.
The only thing I'm going to remember in a year from now is that amazing camel clutch.
Yeah, that was good.
That was great.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
it. It was a good
So-
show, though. I mean, it kept my interest. The Jericho Ambrose, it took the wind out of my sails because it was
True.
so bad.
True. Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Well, overall,
okay.
I think it was a good show. Definitely a good show. I have to talk about something though right here.
Go for it.
Nobody's brought this up yet, which probably is why. New Day Vaudevillain match, tag team title match.
It's okay. It wasn't great. But it wasn't bad. It was just okay.
New Day. Oh, sorry. New Day completely. They were amazing. They're so over. Xavier Woods got. I don't remember what he said, but they can say anything, and the crowd would just start chanting it. He just came up with like a new chant while they were out there. That it was awesome. But as soon as the Vaudevillains came out, I have never heard the crowd go that silent before in my memory.
Yeah.
They went absolutely dead silent when they came out.
It's a gimmick that won't work on the main roster, but
No
everybody
chance.
kind of predicted that. Yeah, it won't. It won't. They have to modify it pretty heavily to get it. I like the gimmick, but it's an indie gimmick, so it's not going to work.
They treat it like a joke.
Yeah, if they treat it a little seriously.
I mean, those guys are good in the ring. I mean, their work looks really good, but they just treat them like fucking clowns. So it's not going to work.
Yeah, and it's
like
definitely
Gosh.
unique. It's cool, but
I like
the match
Gosh.
was too one-sided. I think they should have at
was.
least had danger of them winning. But
Well,
it was
there
even
that
like
one- there was
it was
one
the B
spot that
team of the New Day. It was Woods was in there, and he.
No, but that's what I liked because there was one spot they set up where Woods hit their finisher on Woods and he kicked out. I think they put Woods in the match on purpose because if that was Big E or Kofi that took that and he kicked out, I don't think people would have bought it. But they actually did buy that. The crowd reacted to that pretty good.
But
did.
in
That's
doing that, it makes it look even worse on the Vaudevillains.
I mean, they have no
can't
plans
even
for
beat
Vaudevillains,
Woods
though,
now.
so- Yeah, they don't care about the Vaudevillains.
I wouldn't be
So,
surprised.
why-
I would not be surprised if they get straight Ascension treatment and they're done after this.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I can see, or go back to NXT. I mean, either one.
I would. That would be to me. That would be a much better idea.
And good for
than-
them though, because they want to make better money, and NXT guys make nothing.
And I have to say, dude, Big E, I get scared every fucking time he goes for that big spear out of the ring.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Yeah,
He landed right on his shoulder, and it looks like he's gonna
hate
get hurt.
Stop
He's going to
doing
break
that.
that at one point. It's
Yep.
yeah.
Someone needs to tell him to stop doing that shit because that guy's got so much potential as being like a main event guy in a singles push down the line that they need to be protecting him like really bad.
I
They
thought
need to-
I thought I heard it.
they need an agent or something just to tell him to stop doing that shit.
One thing I was going to say about the Vaudevillains was I don't see any upside to is it Adrian English?
Adrian English, yeah.
No, I don't see
Aiden,
the upside to him at all. But I think that Gotch can be saved in some way. I think if he was better on the mic, I think he'd have a chance. So I think the only thing that he can do, because his look is so unique and his gimmick is so unique, the other one just kind of blank. But I like his gimmick once he gets going. I think him as a babyface with a manager to talk for him could work really well. Like bring the guy that's on their Titantron. So I know he's one of the NXT people, who's former XPW wrestler.
Oh.
But he bring him in. He is an amazing microphone guy. Bring him in. Push Gotch as a singles wrestler, babyface with a guy like that, and I think he has a chance. But as a team, they're dead in the water already, unfortunately.
Yeah. So besides that, just quickly, Rusev, just really happy got the win. I like Kalisto's run. I think it was a good run, but if he would have beat Rusev here, I don't know what they would have done with Rusev after all that. But
there's more upside to him anyway right now.
yeah, definitely. The Fatal 4-Way match, I don't know what else to say about that besides it was fucking amazing. Easily that could... I don't know what else they're going to do this year, but that's got to be, I would assume, be up there for contention for match of the year. That's got to be a memorable one for sure.
I agree.
And as I was live tweeting during the show, and I kept hating on Miz. I had no problem. I had a
great during this. He
I
was good
knew-
on Raw too.
I knew Miz was going to, had a very strong idea Miz was going to still retain. And I really wasn't mad at that, but I don't know. To me, it felt, he didn't really, it felt like he pretty much got carried through the match.
It's all right, though.
Shit, he's in there with 3 of the best wrestlers.
I
on
know.
the planet.
And to me, that I hate people being carried through like amazing matches.
That's his
I
job,
like-
though. He's
Yeah, it's
there
his
to
job.
make all 3 of them look like
Exactly.
fucking gold.
That's
He
exactly
is
it.
the heel who is basically there to bump and give them the
Yeah,
shine.
that's why I
it.
knew
And
he was
and
definitely
his-
going to win.
His Raw match wasn't just him being carried either. He actually put
Yeah.
in good
True.
work there too. So if anything, he'll learn from being in with these guys
He's
even
motivated.
more.
So
So-
He's motivated.
it's no
Yeah.
surprise
Well,
that I fucking
he's got his
hate
wife
Miz.
with him, so that would motivate anybody. So
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Dean Ambrose match, of course, is no secret. Dean Ambrose is my favorite going in right now, and dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I like Chris Jericho. Always like Chris Jericho. I don't know how you fucked this match up. To be honest with you, Dean has not like they haven't had experience with hardcore matches or anything like that. I know they couldn't do crazy shit, but I just don't. I am clueless on how they fucked this match up.
I think that Dean is a bad ring general. I think it's been kind of clear that he needs somebody stronger than him, like a Triple H, to carry him to good matches, or like Rollins is a really good one as well. But like Jericho, I think he's really bad with people he doesn't have experience with, and of course he doesn't have any experience really with Dean. So that's why I'm kind of surprised their first match worked out well. But Dean doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that, like, if something's going bad, he just takes control of it. He just kind of goes with the flow, is what it looks like.
I can see that. But I
would probably blame Jericho on this one.
I'm losing faith in Jericho. I know that we've been saying it for a while that he's obviously not what he was, and that's obvious. But dude, like, he completely shit the bed with the AJ Styles thing, and now he comes in on a big pay-per-view in the match that had the most time on the card, and it completely, I wouldn't say it sucked, but it wasn't good. Yeah. It wasn't a bad match. It was just a whatever match. It's not memorable. It wasn't like a horrible match.
Should have been a lot better than it was.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like you're saying, it's hard to figure why it's not as good as it could have been, considering who's in it. But
they broke out all the big spots. I think it was a combination of being too long, its placement on the card, and nobody really cares about Dean because of his loss to Brock. Like I think that really fucking hurt him. Because they showed that this is a scrappy dog underdog guy going against this monster, and then he just got shit on. Like, he didn't even look good. And some people will be like, oh, well, just being in the ring, like Jim Ross said, just being in the ring with Brock is enough to put him over. No, that's not, because he was treated like a job guy. And ever since that match with Brock, his reactions have been going down significantly.
Well, Dean's one guy that calls somebody out and then gets beat up.
Yeah.
It makes you look so stupid when you do that. Especially when you're the good guy in that.
Yeah, it does.
You gotta eventually, get more
That's
than
why I'm
just
at least
the
glad
win.
he's winning these ones, but where's he go from here? Well, he's in Money in the Bank, and so's Jericho, and oh god.
I don't want to talk all about Money in the Bank, but I would not be surprised if Dean actually wins it.
Well, that's what I like about the match, is that all the people so far that are in, I could see any one of them winning. So that's nice. Yep. It's not Money in the Bank where it's like, oh, this guy's going to win for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty spread out so far, so it's a good pick of people. I just wish Styles was in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
but that's why I think he's going to do that tag match feud. But
yeah,
who do you think is going to be the mystery guy? You think Cena's going to come back for that, or?
I don't think so,
cool.
because I think that would be a really. I mean, apparently he did an interview with TMZ and said that he's about 70% ready to come back
on Monday.
But like, don't put him back into a ladder match.
Yeah,
like that seems like a
extreme.
bad idea. I mean, if it was up to me, put like Balor in. Put somebody in that's
Finn.
completely new and fresh.
How
it'd be great.
shit the
It's a
crowd
good-
would
it's a
be
good
when
way
the
to
seventh
give-
man goes and that music comes up and the demon comes out.
Yeah, give
Oh
somebody
my
new
God.
the spot and give somebody new the rub and create a new star overnight. But they'll probably just put Cena in. So
That's the thing. I like the Finn Balor thing a lot better, but I mean, I'm just kind of thinking like what the WWE mentality generally is. It's like,
So just to finish up,
just fan questions real quick too. There's not that many.
Well,
of them.
I haven't finished. I haven't fucking even talked about the main event yet.
Man, nobody. You hate Daniel Bryan, so
No, the main event. I'm gonna talk about it anyway. The main event to me was the best match on the card. The Fatal 4 match was great. That Roman Reigns and AJ Styles completely fucking blew it out of the water. It was fantastic. I was disappointed when I seen Seth Rollins come out at the end of the match. I was disappointed because I wanted to see another Roman Reigns, AJ Styles,
or have them like shake hands or something. Like show like that could have been the way that Styles gave the rub to Roman at the end.
Because as soon as Seth came out, that obviously just nibbed it. It just ended it. And that to me, that was to me one of the low moments of the show was when Rollins. I know that sounds stupid, but when Rollins came out and just completely just made sure it ended the Reigns Styles feud that they were doing, which I felt should not be ended yet. They were way too fucking good.
Styles nail Rollins out of nowhere. It's like, no, I'm not done yet.
Yeah, dude, Styles and Rollins whenever it happens, because it has to happen.
No,
that
brand
is
split. It won't
Jesus
happen.
fucking Christ.
No, brand split won't happen.
Hey, they could be on the same show. They could be on the
No,
same
maybe
show.
not. But
maybe not.
That's
So
true.
yeah, right. That might not happen.
And there you go. And that's
And imagine, because the rumor was that Styles signed for 2 years, and after his contract is up, he's done. Like that, he said many times that once he hits 40, he's done. But he wanted this. This was like the final carrot that was dangled
Yeah.
in front of him, so he could retire like on the
Okay.
biggest stage. Imagine if he does sign for 2 years and that's it. Like his body can't hold up anymore, so he is going to walk away from it. But because he's on a separate brand, he never gets to interact with someone like Rollins or like Sami Zayn or like any of these big names. And the brand split fucks us out of these potential matches that we could have gotten easily if they hadn't been.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, Vince loves you. Vince loves you. He's like, Bomber, you're my favorite.
Do you really think that they would have these guys on the same roster and have
Yes.
them never fight?
Well, somebody made a good example. Was Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels never fought because of the brand extension?
I mean, I
No,
guess.
not. I mean that
No,
is
no.
that's
Well,
a
to me,
fact.
I guess. I mean,
That's
if,
a dream match. That's something I would have loved to have seen, but never
I mean,
happened because they were
that
never
might
on
be
the same
that might be
show.
true.
No,
I
it
would-
is true. It's
No,
literally
I mean
a
for
fact.
you. No, I mean for you. That may have been a dream match. For me, I mean,
No,
to
for
me, that
a
wouldn't be
lot of
dream
people,
match.
that was a big
Sure,
time match
I
that people
agree.
wanted to
But
see.
I bet.
look at it this way: you never would have thought. If you go back to before January, would one of your dream matches or the best feuds of 2016 be AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns?
Oh, God, no, and there's no way they
Zero
would've done
people
it.
would think that, but because you can have it happen, you fall into something great. You're literally having some of these options now where you'll never get the idea of a Michaels and a Guerrero is awesome, yeah. And I would have loved to see it, but I mean, you don't think it would have been as great. But what if it happened and it was great? Well, that's the point. It couldn't have happened.
Yeah, it did. It had a chance to happen. And like some of these matches now are going to be limited. Like that's why it's really shocking that people are so excited about. Like you're right. It's like a viral excitement.
maybe
Like,
they're just
I'm
happy-
So excited you're cutting half of my options away. Yay!
Maybe they're just happy because WWE is going to go through a change. They haven't went through a change in fucking forever. Maybe they're happy that
How
like
about,
something.
it's about
I
better
can see
writing.
that.
It's
Yeah,
just,
but this changes. Let's do the same thing we did 10 years ago.
yeah.
True,
It's
the
been
change
good.
is something that they've done. That is true.
It's already been good too. Like since Mania, I've really enjoyed the
It has
product.
been. I agree. I agree.
Great. They've gone in the good direction with fresh opponents, fresh matches and stuff. But instead, now they're just going to retread an old, boring ass thing that failed miserably. Like, ugh.
And
Stop it.
And I am happy. I just want to go on record again by saying I am happy that Reigns is now starting to pick it up a
Yeah,
little bit.
let him
and-
be himself. Let him be himself,
Yeah.
and he's great. A smug son of a bitch. Every time he gives a little smile out there, I'm like, yeah, I love this.
He's always been.
I knew this
Yeah.
when the
Always
day
been good.
after Mania, when Sami Zayn came out and he just like tried to
Yeah,
shoot
he
him
looked
off.
at it, shrugged him
That
off.
was the moment. I was like, "He's like, you don't belong here." I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that was
the
great.
one we want."
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
like
just
it.
let him be himself. All right, so are we ready for some questions?
Yeah, let's get some questions. Let's get some questions in here. Then
All right,
we'll...
there's not that many of them, so we can go through them really quick. This is from Matt Monday. Says favorite ECW WCW match. I never had a favorite WCW match because fuck WCW. I never really watched it for the most part. ECW, I didn't watch too much of that either, but I would say, yeah, I mean, it had to be Big Show versus Ric Flair.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Time classic.
You
that was
fucking
for a
troll.
title. That was for a title. You don't
Was.
brag about that. Match.
Ric Flair took a choke slam on thumbtacks for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I would say probably Sabu and RVD versus is it
Hayabusa.
Yeah. There you go. And who was the other one?
Jinji Suzuki.
Yeah, the guy with the tattoos. That was great. That was a good match.
Akushi for all
There
you.
Yeah.
Former Hakusa.
That was mine. What about you guys?
That would actually be my favorite ECW match too. That was fucking amazing.
Old school ECW. I don't know. Some of those triple threats like Super Crazy had to Jerry and
Yeah.
can't remember the other guy, but that one probably one of those where he almost impaled himself on a chair on a moonsault was crazy. WCW. I mean, I can go back to stuff like the old school Mysterio and Guerrero, Halloween Havoc, or some of the old Vader stuff. I really liked him as world champ. So
Vader.
yeah, those were good. Vader's one of my all-time favorites. So some of his WCW stuff was great. So probably some of that.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. I was a big WCW guy. I was more WCW than WWE. I'm having a hard time picking like a favorite though. Is the one that's just standing out was the Sting Hogan when that was like the biggest thing in the fucking world. Sting coming in.
But the match they ended up with was a big fart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so was the next day afterwards.
I can't really. That's
The build was great, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
you went into the match and it was like the craziest shit. Like going into it was, I can't even remember anything being matched up besides The Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania being that big. that big of a feel, I should say, like a big match feel. But man, I feel really bad that I can't think of a match that really.
Well, let's help you out. Was it like the Goldberg era? Was it the Sting and Flair era?
I watched WCW back. I remember watching the Steiners, but I mean, I watched WCW for a long time. I can't really think of anything. All
right,
weird.
so moving on.
All right, all right, ECW. Sorry, yeah, we'll go ECW. I really enjoyed. I can't remember what show it was, but I remember watching a Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn match. That was fucking phenomenal.
Oh god, they've had like dozens of those. So yeah,
it was on a pay-per-view because I only watched the pay-per-views.
That
I
was
only
the
watched the
same
pay-per-views.
flair of ECW, really.
Yeah,
when you
it
think about
fucking It was fucking unbelievable.
Well, I would say if it counts, that Mike Awesome versus
Tanaka?
What is Tanaka?
Yeah, I was going to say
Reunion
honorable
show?
mention.
Oh my god!
Their first one,
I mean,
that was
like
amazing.
now you watch it and you realize the chair shots they were taking and the
Yeah.
fact that like Awesome almost broke his neck falling to the outside the ring one time, but like that is unreal.
That match is amazing. When
Yeah,
he
it
did
was
that
good.
thing to the outside, the commentary legitimately was like, "Oh my god!"
It was so
Yeah.
good that Mike Awesome had to kill himself after just.
Oh my,
because of the
dude,
top
you're the
piece.
worst. You're the worst.
And the real scary thing is Tanaka is still wrestling.
Yeah, he still does the same
Really?
style too, like chair
Yeah.
shots and everything.
That's insane. No, I will say, funny story. ECW. Mike Awesome was my favorite wrestler in ECW.
No, now he's just hanging around.
How about this lounge lizard running?
Not so much. Not
Oh,
so
the
much.
fat chick thriller.
So as a WCW fan, seeing ECW, Mike Awesome.
My favorite
Oh, no.
WCW moment was Mike Awesome powerbombing one of the ICP members on a bus and having him fall off as Mike
That was
Awesome
Mikey
desperately
Whipwreck.
tries to grab him.
Wasn't that Mikey Whipwreck?
No, it was
when
one
he
of the
came out?
ICP guys.
Oh.
It was Shaggy. It was.
I
a small
remember that
guy,
when he
Shaggy.
slid off. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
I thought
funny.
that was- Oh.
All right, this is from Punisher. Who will be the face of Raw and SmackDown? Roman Reigns will run Raw, and John Cena will run SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah, I could go with that.
I wouldn't be
think-
surprised if they flipped it, but I see Cena on SmackDown.
I think Roman's their guy right now.
That's the bolstering. He's the name guy that can go over there. It's Hogan and Warrior. Hogan's
Yeah.
still the name.
Yeah.
Cena's. I think Cena's definitely going to SmackDown. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, this is from Robert Ashley Brown. What match are you looking forward to at the next NXT TakeOver? I don't even know what they're doing. I haven't watched NXT in a while. I have to catch up.
Their NXT came on tonight actually.
Okay. Yeah, I have
remember-
no idea.
yeah,
Austin
Who's
Aries, I
Joe-
think, is going
Who's
against
Joe facing off?
I think Aries, isn't it?
No, it's Joe and Balor in a rematch.
Oh, is it?
It's
well, that's the one I
Nakamura
want.
and Aries.
Oh, there you go.
And that's a number one contender. At least they're treating it that way.
Yeah, well, I think
All right.
I think that's your answer right there for me. Aries
There
and
you go.
Nakamura, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. Okay. And Nakamura's just gonna run right over fucking Aries.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it'll
I
look
think
good.
so.
It'll
Yeah,
look real good. But
It
yeah.
will. It'll look great.
Greg asks, where do you expect Rollins' direction to go this year? I would say that, yeah, he's going to fight with Roman for a little bit, but I think they're going to put him on SmackDown. I think the idea is that I think he actually might be the first world champion for SmackDown, because the idea being that like they're going to have an indecisive finish against Roman, and then basically he's never lost the title. Put the title on him. It's kind of like the Edge spot that they gave when they did the initial brand split. Like it became the Edge show after a certain amount of time. So that's what I'm guessing is he'll take the world title to SmackDown.
That even happened when they did the thing where Lesnar went exclusive to SmackDown. Triple
Yeah.
H was the Raw number one contender. He became the Raw World Champion.
Here's the title, Triple H. Just gonna give it to you. Oh God, why'd
Yep.
you do that? Oh, and then I was thinking about this story. I was running the other day, and I was thinking about how bad it was when they had Triple H just eat all the titles for no reason. and they had that one great company, one great champion, and only one person that has anything to do. That was the worst. Hardcore European IC title. Fuck you. That's so bad. Let's see here. Thomas Gibbs, what's your favorite WWE talk show segment? Which upcoming superstar do you think should have his own talk show? I personally only ever liked one, and that was the highlight reel, and now I hate all of them because they're all the same. They're all pointless.
You don't like the Asylum? The Ambrose Asylum?
I hate
Fuck
it.
no.
I hate it. I hate it. He shouldn't be doing talk shows. He should be beating the shit out of people.
Yeah.
I like the idea that he had a talk show as a joke, and then he should
Yeah.
have gotten a repeat one. Be like, I don't know what to do here. Someone come fight me. That would be the end of it.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Piper's was good too because he was already retired. Like when they would bring him back to do stuff, that's fine because he's retired.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be.
I
doing it.
liked Snake Pit. personally. Jake the Snake.
I never saw it, but I know of it, but I never saw it.
That one was really good. I liked it.
And I'm gonna have to be the guy that says I actually am not a big fan of. I don't like any of them talk shows.
I hate them.
That's fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I hate them, but I'm not a big.
They should relegate that kind of stuff to the network to be a destination thing and get it off of the main shows.
Yeah.
I hate them like I hate Baron Corbin. I hate those fucking guys.
Oh, there you go.
So that's the answer for who should get the talk show.
Yeah, Baron Corbin
he
gets a talk show.
He should get one, so I'll know what segment to skip every time. That'll be awesome. And I don't have to see him in his mustard Dijon mustard pants.
I want to see Big Show get a talk show. I want to see Big
No.
Show.
No.
Just call it the Big Show.
It's the Big Show.
Grundy Spundy asked, "How do you feel about Rollins staying heel?"
Oh!
I mean, it's one of those things where like he'd be better off as a face right now because I think they would eat him up, especially his style because he does a high flying style. But they will not turn Roman Reigns heel under any circumstance. And if they don't turn him heel, that means Rollins is going to be number 2. And if he wants to be number 1, he has to be into the number 1 heel. So that's it. Would you rather be the number 1 heel or the number 2 face? You'd rather be the number 1 heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I agree with it.
Yeah. I prefer it. I mean, I know that's probably not the most popular choice, but I prefer him being a heel. I like him.
He's better as a heel.
Yeah, I don't
But-
think he's good enough. I don't think he's got enough talking skills right now, mic skills, to be a good face. It's much easier. It seems like it's much easier for him to be a heel than it is a face. I think.
Yeah, he's much more of a natural dickhead.
Yes, exactly. I just don't want them to go through the whole like he plays the weasel trying like being a wuss, like doing that whole shit that they were doing for him
he
a
is.
while.
Like Edge when he was the White Knight, and he's like, "Screw this, I'm a bad guy."
Yeah.
When he came back from his
I like-
injury. It's that, and I agree with that. But really, him being a good guy when they're cheering him, he was over arguably more than anybody at the pay-per-view. Capitalize on it at least for a month. Have him cheat to win. Oh no, we don't like you.
Yeah, I can see that.
I liked how his backstage segment with Stephanie on Raw, once again, she refuses to put somebody over. Like, all they had to do was have him run her down a little bit when she did her, like, stopped him. Have her run him down a little. But no, he just sits there with a dumb look on his face while she gets herself over. And once again, Stephanie doesn't help to put anyone over except for Stephanie. Ever. Under any circumstance. Fucking hate that. I hate her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so annoying. Did you guys see
she's hot.
Batista's?
She's
Did
hot.
you see? Oh yeah, no, she is. Did you see Batista's reply to her tweet though?
No.
That was pretty amazing. So she tweeted out. She was like, "Oh, how many superstars I've hit with the slap? What's your favorite one?" And Batista's response was fucking hilarious. He put at Stephanie. He's like, "Oh, like there was that one. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there was the other one that did. Oh no." And like he had these little smiley faces where it started as a smile face. Then it went to like a cringe, and then it went to a crying, essentially saying like, "You never get anybody over ever. Like, will you just get yourself over." I love that he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, bitch.
Yeah, he's something.
And Bond and yeah, he's fine.
3J Platinum asks, "Who do you think is the top free agent WWE should sign immediately?" I have 2. I think Zack Sabre Jr. would do really well in a cruiserweight division for them because I mean he's the best wrestler that isn't signed in the world, easily. And the other one I was thinking of was they should bring back Drew McIntyre because he's unbelievable on the independent scene. Like his fire is completely reinvigorated. He's amazing, and I if they push him right, I think he could do well.
Is it too soon to say Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, there you go. It's all the work he's gonna come
Or
back.
Damian Sandow? Wouldn't it be? I was thinking this. Wouldn't it be amazing if all this Cody stuff was a work?
That'd be awesome. Because people
but
Like this
his
is the
wife-
next level of something. Wouldn't that be great?
They just granted his wife a release as well.
I know, but
that
I
would
know.
be fantastic. That would.
But
That would
if
be
this
great.
was all a work, it'd be like, oh man, they got us. That would have been incredible.
I don't think they can risk that type of thing in today's market because it's a public-run company. You can't say you released like somebody and then be like, "Ah, gotcha."
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be great?
Nah, I don't know. It's just Cody though.
If
Like,
it was a work, it'd be
it's-
great.
if it was somebody bigger, higher up, like when they did it with Punk, if they had really stuck with it and had him actually defend the title,
Yeah, but this would give
some
Cody
like independent
something.
places.
Yeah, I mean, this would give him
there's-
his in though.
Yeah, fuck Cody. They had their
okay,
chance
well,
with him and they
there you
fucked
go.
it up.
There
So
you
it's
go.
too
They
late.
did. So as far as for a legit answer, I was thinking Saber because he's in that cruiserweight thing.
He's just spectacular.
So-
he's
Yeah.
unreal.
When you say free
Fuck, just
agents,
bring Angle back and finish his career.
thank you. I do want to see that.
But don't. Do you want to see him put in a ring?
No. No more.
No.
No angle
No,
in the ring.
bring
One
him back
last-
and finish his
Manager.
career. One match at Mania.
One
that's all.
last.
He'll die. He will
Dude,
kill himself.
if Taker can fucking be out there, Angle
Taker,
can do one more.
no. There's no
No,
comparison. Taker never had a
yeah.
substance abuse problem multiple times. No, completely
And-
different. Taker
and-
isn't in a chair.
You can't have one go home match with.
No, you can't. They
No,
can't.
no,
risk
no, 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 no. You see how much muscle Angle has on his neck compared to the rest of the muscle in his body. His neck is built up that way for a reason because he's got no bones in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Does
you can't
does
trust Angle.
TNA count as the being free agents?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that-
so.
Oh yeah, okay.
Pretty much.
I would say
Yeah,
yes.
get Jeff back.
There you
I would
go.
say-
That was going to be my answer. I was going to say get Jeff back. I'd like to see Matt. I've always preferred Matt over Jeff anyway. I'd like to see the Hardy Boys come back for one last run. If Dudley's can
Jesus
do it, I think
Christ.
they can do it.
Did you see what Matt Hardy looked like on Impact?
He's awful.
Like he's got the weird. He's got like the white hair, kind of like
what
the
the
weird.
fuck Rollins' hair was he doing there with this stupid accent where he kind of
He's-
talked kind of like this, and it was a little odd. And wait, what the fuck is he doing?
I don't know. He's trying to do something stupid.
He's like
something different.
balding, and he refuses to just cut his fucking hair so it'll look normal.
It looked like
Same,
Sting did
same
after
with
his
Jericho, by
Mania
the way.
match.
Same with Jericho.
I'd like to see EC3, like actually given
Yes.
the same type of gimmick because
Try.
I think that gimmick would do really well as a jackass heel in WWE.
I'll give
As
him.
like a
I give him a try. Yeah, I give him.
I want to see them grab Moose from ROH.
Yeah, that guy's weird looking. I guess like Vince would probably shoot his load all over him.
Moose is awesome though. He's the Titus O'Neil they want. I mean, he's,
Yeah, right.
he's-
Because it's terrible.
yeah.
Okay, we have let's see, one more. He had 3 questions, but we've already answered a few of them. So let's see. Wonder why. Oh, are they calling it that? I didn't know that. I wonder. This is from Firehawk. I wonder why they are calling it the next NXT Takeover at the end. I'm assuming because it's the last match between Balor and Joe.
I thought it was called Revenge.
Is it?
Let me see.
I don't know,
Let me
it said
look.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look up right now. I could have sworn it was Takeover Revenge, but they might have just named it.
Look it up. NXT results that just happened. I don't know.
Wikipedia says Nakamura is gonna face Aries at NXT Takeover Revenge.
All right. So you had the final question, and it was incorrect.
Yeah, it's WWE.com. So
What
All
a
I'll verify this.
That would fail. Still love you as a fan, though. Thanks for listening.
so.
You're now on suspension.
As you talk about what, anybody have any thoughts on Johnny? I can never say his last name right. Gargano.
Gargano.
I always fuck that up. What thoughts on him in NXT now? Anybody a big fan of his?
I mean, yeah, I like him a lot, but the problem there was somebody that made a really good point about him. They were like, he looks and wrestles a lot like Christian, and that is not a good thing for WWE. Like,
Yeah.
Vince fucking hates Christian. So if Vince, because like Gargano's not a bad looking guy, but he's kind of like a good looking ugly guy, which is what Christian's problem was. And it's like, man, he just wrestles a lot like that. And if that's the case, Vince will like look at him and just be like, "Who's this blue dot?"
Yeah. Goddamn,
Oh.
pal.
Nah.
Oh, you know what? It is WWE.com. NXT Takeover The End. ...
Oh,
Really?
Well,
all right.
Well, shit.
Okay.
All right. So
That's
what was the
from
question?
the .com. So.
Now that it's a real question, what's the question again?
Yeah.
It's called that, but I think it's called that because it's Balor and Joe's final match with each other.
It's theirs, yeah. I gotta
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that. They're not gonna stop Takeover specials. They're the strongest thing. They are the third brand, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
They're not done. They're not done.
Yeah, Ciampa though. Ciampa is. I have high hopes for him because when he gets into his character, man, he is fucking excellent. So Gargano's great, but I think Ciampa is way better. So I'm hoping that because I don't think they've actually signed them. I think that they're still just kind of doing that like talent release thing where they use talent from the indies. I don't think that they're actually signed WWE talent yet, or if they have like a working relationship. But they should sign them and make them a permanent team and just call them up because they're great together.
Oh, okay.
Really good. Look up Ciampa sometime, Bomber, because he's fucking excellent. He was really good in Ring of Honor too, but he was in the developmental system for a long time, the WWE one, and they let him go, and then he went and kind of got much better on the indie scene, and so finally went back.
Closing thought. Anybody? I don't know if we talked about it. Do we have any thoughts on Eric Young now in NXT? Anybody? Do we say anything about that?
I still fucking hate him.
I think we did. We did talk about this. Yeah, we did. Now that I.
We did. I'm on board with it. He's
Yeah.
officially hasn't signed though. He just had a good match. That was all it was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've always liked him, but cool. Yeah, I remember us talking about this now. Gotcha. Cool.
All right with
All
it.
right.
He's a name. He can put people over.
Yeah. I mean, he seems good, but All right, guys. Well, we went on for a while, but hey, we had a lot of stuff to talk about. So I think that we had to go along this episode.
Didn't even get to the death pool.
Didn't even get to the death pool. We're gonna do that eventually.
Bret Hart's my pick.
Hey, we can't. God damn it.
It's too late. Bret Hart's my pick.
God damn
That's
it. Hey, no,
we should have a release.
Bret Hart, you can't have him.
A release pick, roster death pool.
If it's not Ryback, who else is it?
Heath Slater and Curtis Axel.
Heath Slater's on. He's got his thing going.
No,
he's on a network show. Doesn't he have a network show?
That doesn't mean anything.
No.
Oh.
That means nothing. They'll still drop him. Vince will one day will be like, "Why the hell is that asshole still here?" And they're like, "Oh, Vince, he's got a network. I don't give a shit. Get rid of him."
Get Ronald McDonald.
I
off
own
my
a network.
TV.
Blue dot over his paychecks and get him out of here.
Well, we're gonna try 100%. We're gonna try to do the death pool in the next episode, and we're gonna do it in an order where it's first come first serve, and we're gonna have to do a random order. So fuck you and your Bret Hart pick. That is not official.
Bret Hart,
not official. Unofficial.
You know what? After seeing him at the one pay-per-view, I'm like, oh, Matt might be onto something.
Yeah, Bret Hart.
He looked really rough, and I hate that.
Don't get me confused. I wish him the best. I never want to wish death. But the game is picking someone you think will die next, and I pick Bret Hart.
Yeah, because you can't pick Angle. You picked him last time, so.
I think Angle is going to live forever, unfortunately.
There you go.
For anybody that picks him in the death pool, don't do it.
Can you pick like a Jake Roberts, or is there was eligible?
Yeah,
for
it's any wrestler.
But he'll live forever, though. But you know.
But
it doesn't matter. It's not about feelings. It's not about
No,
sparing
that's
emotion.
true. I had nothing against China. I just picked China and I won.
You killed her. We know.
I mean, I have nothing at all against China.
It was a solid pick, Bobby.
It was the easiest. Out of we had Batista, Angle. I think Peanut picked a CZW wrestler, which don't count. But he picked Drake Younger, or Drake Wirtz, whatever you want to call him.
God, Batista. That's the
really?
worst.
Yeah, and Brad picked Batista.
Lex Luger. Unless Batista dies in a stunt accident on a movie.
Luger would be a good one.
Luger's probably my pick.
See, we don't know. We're gonna do it on the next show. Next show, it's gonna happen, no matter what. All right, guys. Well, just close this thing out. Anybody have anything they want to say? Just
sure. Check out everybody's links down below to their YouTube channels for Scott, Bomber, and for Lee. Check out all their content. It's good stuff. Give them all a subscribe. And that's it for me.
Yay.
Yeah. Give us a follow on Twitter at Jobber Radio. Check us out on iTunes. Give us a review. That would be, I think, pretty helpful. Just because we're also on there. I think we're on Stitcher too, but I don't know how that works.
You can say anything on the review. Just give 5 stars.
Yeah, if you give 4 stars, you're a no good son of a bitch, and we're gonna hunt you down. We're gonna send Peanut after you, because by the way, yeah, he did. He didn't show up. Yeah, that's so.
That's Skype update.
Yeah, you said he was gonna update Skype, never showed. So.
That's optional, Peanut. You didn't have to update Skype. You could have just came in and updated later.
Mine asks me to update every time I turn it on. I never do it, so.
That's too much work for him to contemplate. So
yeah, but he said, "Don't worry, guys. I'll be on the next show." That's what he said.
He says that every time.
He does say that every time. But all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I think we got a lot to talk about today. I think it was good.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you, News of the Draft.
Yeah, that helped us big time. But all right, guys. Have a good one. Let's see you in 2 weeks.
See you later.
Sure.